Shadow 855, I don't understand your response. Everything is biology. I don't understand that response. Because saying everything is biology don't prove to me that this rock is a cock. So, I mean, don't come with those 3-word answers, those 2-word answers. It's biology. Click the link and come up here and articulate yourself. I'm all ears. I'm not here with the answers, here with the questions. And one of the questions I got is the truth community being hypocritical for denying dinosaur fossils as proof of dinosaurs while also teaching that some rock formations are petrified beings? If you don't got smoke, then that's the only other reason you should call in is to answer that question. So it's 2 reasons you should click the link. If you coming up to prove that rocks are petrified beings, if you're coming up to prove, for example, that the rock formation on my screen is a petrified giant's cock, if you coming up to prove that, then come on up. I'm all ears. If you coming up to answer the question, come on up. I'm all ears. The question is this hypocritical? So if you don't want to debate, if you just want to come up and chat with us, come on up. I dropped the link. And the question we got for the night for the call-in is it hypocritical? Is the truth community hypocritical in a lot of ways? Because people will laugh at Christians for believing in demons and they will believe in lizard people. So let's call it in, you know. People will say fossils ain't real, dinosaur fossils ain't real, but this rock formation is an old dragon. I've been around this truth community for a while, and guess what I can tell you? Whenever you have a truth community, they will run a hit piece psychological operation on it, and they will mix some embarrassing claims with the truth, and it'll make everyone discredit everything else you teach. So you will have a lot of guys in the flat earth community coming with these claims that we just can't prove, and in my opinion, they are embarrassment to us. Like this rock formation being a giant phallus, or that there's lizard people running the world. People will just discredit the flat earth stuff that you talking to. They don't even want to hear this flat earth stuff because they like, wait a minute, he think the earth flat, he believe lizard people run the world, and he think that this rock is a cock. Oh, that man need a crazy check. Now listen, we can prove flat earth, but dude, you mixing stuff in there we can't prove that's gonna discredit what we can prove, in my opinion. That's right. And to me, there's a hit piece that's keeping this flat earth truth from ever rising up and really just taking off the way it should, to where it's gonna be taken seriously. They've muddied the waters so much. I don't deny certain claims. I just look for better explanations that's more in alignment with science and technology. For example, I don't deny the existence of demons. I say through etymology that the word demon is damn man. These are creatures that don't have a soul or inner light. They're a damn dark being, a demon. So I don't deny stuff. Like if I was talking to a Christian, I wouldn't say you wrong, demons don't exist. I would tell the Christian, hey, I have a different interpretation of demons than what you have. And I would break down non-player characters and artificial intelligence. Like, but what'll happen, people will deny certain things like demons and then say, well, lizard people are real. To me, that's hypocritical. To me, that's hypocritical. I don't deny none of this stuff. I just reinterpret it because I think the truth is somewhere buried behind all of this stuff. Now, as far as dinosaurs go, I'm going to tell you what I think. As far as dragons go, you know what I think? Because I'm a syncretist, and I'm going to show you right now. Here is where the whole dragon concept come from. And this is just facts, what I'm about to show you. The dragon was talking about our kundalini energy. It was the winged serpent. This right here is just a symbol for the kundalini energy. Now, guess what? We want to literally interpret dragons as mythological creatures, just like people think Satan is a real being. But Satan is just an archetype to represent the kundalini, which is why the serpent represents wisdom. Because with wisdom, knowledge is power, the soul can ascend out the simulation. And the ascension of the serpent within you, rising up out of you, when the serpent is lifted up, it's given wings. It becomes a winged serpent. That's the mythology of the ascension of the soul. In other words, this was the story of resurrection before Jesus, which is why Moses lifted up a serpent on a cross before we put Jesus on the cross. So when we talk about Christ being lifted up, before we were saying Christ be lifted up, we were saying let the serpent be lifted up. And it was talking about letting the kundalini within every man be resurrected and lifted up. See what I'm saying? So this was teaching about our inner divinity, and now we've turned it into spookism and stuff. And you got people that's saying that the island of Bora Bora is a dragon. Let's look at this stuff. Let's take a look at it. Let's deal with some of the claims. And like I said, the show is open for any caller. But I think that people are not, sticking
Do you
to
have the
simply sticking to what we can prove.
eyes to see, or do you still?
Now look, you can put an image next to anything and our eyes will make it see what we want to see, like the constellations, right? So when you're looking at the constellations, it's not that Aquarius is really a dude pouring water. It's just that we turned it into that. And people, this is no different than people on eBay selling expensive Cheetos. You do know that's why the Cheetos are so expensive on eBay. They got a whole category for it because we've been so dumbed down that, listen, people think that is some significant because the Cheetos shaped like Jesus. So imagine having a French fry that's shaped like Moses and somebody sell it to you for 10,000. But see, that's a level of ignorance we at. It's no different than this right here. You might as well go ahead and buy this Jordan Cheeto logo. And they got it in a jar for you, ready to go. Your mind can see what it want to see, right? Someone, when they looked at this, they saw Jordan. Guess what? I don't see Jordan. I see a Mercedes-Benz logo. But we can see what we want to see. It's called lookership, not science, not provable stuff like flat earth. Ordo, I need a mic check right now, please. How you doing? How you doing? Welcome to the show, Ordo. How you doing? And see, this what happens, y'all. When you join the show, at least speak and greet to me. That's rude. Ordo, I'm gonna give you one. I don't want nobody hopping on my joint with just a mute mic and not saying nothing. Thank you. Go. That's signs of a troll. Hop on with just a muted mic, not even. How you doing, Sanchez? Yeah, I'm gonna get you right up out of here. Shouldn't have to beg you for a mic check.
Still believe in dinosaurs. This is the island of Bora Bora, and I'm going to take the next few minutes and prove to you that it's a petrified dragon. But first, if you don't already believe in dragons, let me catch you up. Let's first take a look at what the 1946 dictionaries used to say. Dragons, now rare. Let's see what Alexa has to say about
Yeah, the dictionary tells you that a dragon is a huge winged serpent creature. That don't tell me it's real, though. How is this science? How is this proving it? Right? The dictionary tells me black is wicked, but I don't think that. Right? If we let Webster define our reality, then we falling for the trick of the English curse and Freemasonry. So even though the dictionary will tell you what a dragon is, it don't change the fact that it is a mythological creature. It's just like me looking up the definition for Superman. And they say, well, he's a dude that flies in the air. He has a red cape on. He wear a blue suit. And he can't take kryptonite. Kryptonite will kill him. Just because the dictionary is defining Superman to me, it don't make Superman real. That's right. If you look up the devil in the dictionary, it's going to tell you like a red dragon, an adversary or something like that, right? So that's what I was saying. Like the dictionary may define something, but the definition doesn't prove the thing.
about this.
Let me
Alexa,
see.
how many dragon fossils have been found in the United States?
The number of dragon fossils found in the United States is limited. Only 5 fossils have been discovered so far, limiting the knowledge about these creatures. These fossils are studied by researchers to learn more about dragon species and their evolution. While the findings are preliminary, they provide insights into the life and times of these majestic creatures.
So the dictionary says they're real. Alexa says they're real.
The dictionary don't say they real. It just defined it. And somebody saying something real versus us actually going to prove it to be real, like what we do with flat earth experimentation. See, to me, it's really lazy and it's like a shot in our foot, because people will think that this is our approach to flat earth too. The ancestors said it was flat. The Bible said it was flat. So it's flat. Why? He say, she say. So that's what I wanted to point out about the difference between what we can prove versus what's just being said, right? And remember, when something is being said, you can't stop there. You got to prove what you just said. So if the ancestors said the earth was flat and we go out there and prove it to be flat, then we doing the right thing. If the ancestors say, if the dictionaries say define dragons, for one thing, it's not saying they're real. Another thing, the definition don't make them real. Number 3, you didn't prove it to be real. It's disingenuous.
Several weeks ago in the UK, they found a fossil that looked like this, even though they called a plesiosaur.
Again, we can't, this is what I was saying about the whole mud fossil, the whole, we deny dinosaur fossils, but we'll use them to prove dragons. I put a Facebook post out and I was like, listen, y'all, isn't it hypocritical that we are debunking fossils? Like we're literally going out our way to tell people they don't know what they're talking about. Fossilization isn't right. I learned this from a lot of these big flat earthers channels. I ain't gonna call the names, but for them to say that, well, these fossils are of dragons and we can use these fossils from the same people because we want to prove dragons, but we don't want to prove dinosaurs. I don't think that's fair. I'm gonna be honest. I don't think the earth is a globe, and I'm not caping for the globe earthers. I'm not caping for science. I'm just saying we're not being honest, man. We're not being fair. If we can use these fossils to prove dragons, then guess what? The globe earthers can use them to prove dinosaurs, and I'm just being fair. I'm being fair with it, man. Unless someone can explain to me how it's any different, or it's something I don't get. But I just think it's just ain't fair. You know, we're trying to use the same fossils that we said is created by a process that we're debunking, but we're using them to say, well, dragons must be real. So I don't care. And the thing about dragons, you can't prove them by telling me who mentioned them. You know how long people been mentioning Jesus, Allah, Buddha? It don't prove to me none of them gods real just because. And people tell me that every day. You know how long people been talking about Jesus? Why would Jesus be fake, Sanchez? How you gonna tell me Jesus wasn't real? And people been talking about Jesus for years. People been talking about Santa Claus for longer than Jesus. So Santa Claus real. Guess what? People been telling the story of Bloody Mary before I was born. That's been a childhood horror story. Candyman, older than me. And it's sad, and it shows me y'all ain't honest as I thought. Because I shouldn't have to tell y'all that simply telling me that it was mentioned by this person or telling me who said it don't make it real. You ought to know that. You ought to know that that don't prove nothing. If the police did you like that, you would be mad. If the police said, look, man, everybody said you had shot the place up, so we don't got to prove nothing. 50 people said you shot. You would still tell the police, you still got to prove it, right? I don't care if 500 people said it. You still got to do your work, Mr. Lazy Police, and prove it. Now, ain't that right? That's right. You can't just lock me up. I don't care if 1 million people said it. You got to prove it, man. And hearsay ain't proof. Hearsay is the beginning of your investigation, not the end of it. So coming up telling me what somebody said versus did you prove what they said? Because guess what? I'm not telling you the earth flat because the ancestors said it. I'm telling you it's flat because they said it and I went out there to prove what they said for myself, and I know it's flat.
That sure looks like a dragon to me. And just a few weeks after that was found, CNN reveals that their science...
Ain't nobody gonna hit the link and call in because this stuff cannot be proven.
Scientists actually unveiled...
Scientists unveiled dragon fossils. See, this is what I'm saying, bro. If we're gonna say scientists are lying to us about everything, which is what we say, I've personally heard a lot of these guys say it out of their own mouth. Guys, they lied about everything. Guys, our whole world is a lie. Our reality is a stage. But what I find people doing when it's something that they want to be true, but they don't really have a process to prove it, then they will rely on the people that they said is lying about everything. They'll show you pictures from the James Webb telescope and they'll say, these are just images. We don't know if this is real or not. But then they'll show you images of dragons from the scientists and say, well, this is real because the ancestors spoke about dragons. We can never skip the step of proving this stuff, no matter who said it, y'all. We gotta be honest, and we can never be lazy with this stuff. That's right! Because then we lose credibility. because we can prove this flat earth thing. We don't got to just say who said it. We can prove it. And we got to be able to do that with everything. Or if we can't, guess what we got to say? Hey, guys, this is just my belief. I can't prove this, but this is my theory. This is my belief. And you may hear me do that all the time. And I just want to, put it out there that everyone should be honest enough to do that. You know what I'm saying? Let's not muddy the waters and mix the stuff that we can prove with the stuff we can't. Because then people will start not listening to us with the stuff that we can prove. It's okay to say, listen, I know for a fact the earth is flat, but I believe dragons are real. It's nothing wrong with using the word belief. It make people take you more serious. You get more credibility from people. People say, you know what? When that man ain't got the facts, he let me know it. Well, he specifies when he's, you know what I'm saying? And it wins credibility with people.
Remains, not to mention how they're part of the Chinese zodiac with all real animals, and how there are over 30 verses in the Bible that reference dragons, and how my friend Lori sent me this amazing 1922 dictionary that just happens to have the word dragon in it. And let's see what it says. Is it going to say fictional character, mythical beast?
It ain't gonna say it's real, and it ain't gonna say it's fake. I'm gonna give you an example of what I mean. If you put in Jesus right now on a simple Google search, it's just gonna tell you about Jesus. It ain't gonna say it's a mythological creature. It ain't gonna say that. Let me see. Yeah, it's just gonna start explaining to you about what Jesus is and giving you the history and the story. Jesus, also referred to as Jesus Christ of Nazareth, a Jewish preacher and a religious leader. It's talking like it's a real person. It's talking like it's a real person. He's the central figure of Christianity, the world's largest. If you didn't know no better, you would think this was a real dude. It's never gonna say a mythological creature. It's just gonna go right into the story about and the information you looking up about Jesus. You know why it ain't gonna do that? Because Merriam-Webster is a Christian, people. So now think about this though. If my dictionary is written by Christians, would they put in the dictionary that Jesus ain't real? I'm just asking a simple question.
Or is it going to say something else? Winged serpent. Now, if all this information isn't enough for you, we can take a look at the two dragons that I found in the United States that are fossilized. Here's one's head and its wings.
See, here go the thing. The process of fossilization isn't real, y'all. The process of fossilization isn't real. There is no process by which biological tissue can turn into marble, granite. You can't reduplicate it. And anything that they know they can't reduplicate, they create a situation to where they say, well, it happens over millions and millions of years. But guess what, y'all? No organic material gets stronger over time. It gets weaker. It breaks down, ashes to ashes and dust to dust. So that's like telling me that a banana can turn into a marble banana. In a million years, the banana turned into amethyst rock. So you got this amethyst rock that shapes like a banana, and a scientist come and say, hey, this was once a banana, but over time it hardened and became a amethyst, piece of amethyst through the process of petrification or fossilization. Where are the fossilized humans? Where are the fossilized dogs? Why only we get fossilized certain animals that they need to prove on the evolutionary timeline? I'm not saying that you can't have impressions in the seafloor, but that ain't what they saying a fossil is. They're saying that a fossil is an organic being frozen in time, transformed into pure stone. And that's deeper than an impression. So the fossils that we go up in the museum and see of dinosaurs, entire dinosaurs put together with the bones. And they can show you rocks that shape like, let me show y'all what I mean. Watch this. This is a dinosaur fossil. They can't legally call it a bone because bones decompose out to 200 years. So in order for them to tell you that how the process of how a bone can survive longer than wood, aluminum. Now we all know if I beat you with an aluminum bat, you can die because the aluminum is stronger than your bones. I can break your bones with a wooden bat, aluminum bat. Your bone is not going to survive wood, aluminum. Let me give you an example of what I mean. I'll give you an example. Give you a good example. I'm gonna give you a list of metals that turn into dust after 200 years. Aluminum, is one of them. Damn, it says gold, silver. Let me pull this up. I didn't know that. Under certain conditions, gold can even deplete, it says. Other metals like iron and steel. See here. Iron and steel breaks down after 150 years. Oh, yeah, that is true. That's why we got to constantly maintain our bridges and all that. I'm tripping. Of course, iron and steel can't last over 200 years without constant maintenance. Imagine a building with no maintenance. The steel just rusting, turning, But my whole thing is they're telling us an organic creature with flesh and bone, tissue, bones now, organic material. If you're telling me that organic material can survive gold, silver, steel, and iron, you need to have a damn good explanation. And so the explanation, because liars got to explain themselves. The explanation is, well, there's a process called fossilization. You can't see it though, because it's so slow that this damn liver right here turned into silver. In millions of years, this organic creature turned into granite, turned into some sort of rock that we can identify through paleontology. And guess what? This means we can't legally call it a bone. Then how do we know it's a bone? See, the truth is you shouldn't call it a fossil. You should say we found the old dinosaur corpse, keyword corpse. Let's talk forensics. In forensics, no human remains can survive longer than 200 years. And they're giving you so much time, they being nice because they saying ain't no way your body and your bones can outlive steel and iron. I just read that to you. If you wanted to be a police and do forensic work, they got places where they let bodies decompose for years to research decomposition. You can look this up. I've done my research. Prove me wrong. Chat GPT, do what you want. Ask it, what is the longest that humans remains can survive in the best conditions? And it'll tell you no more than 200 years. It'll say 150 to 200 years. So science got to have a way around that, because they can't go around what forensics saying. You can't be bumping heads with each other. If forensics teaching one thing, then the paleontologists can't be telling them they wrong. So guess how they get around that? They say, well, we didn't find bones, we found fossils. Well, what the hell is that? Did you do the history of when the word was coined? Don't you know that the first fossils they found turned out to be forgeries, and they never rewrote the science books? You can go look this up. It's books written on it. And the people that found these things came out and apologized. See what I'm saying? Knowledge is power, y'all. Knowledge is power. If we knew that paleontology was a hoax, man, I'm telling you, bro, you'll see. It's another cash cow like space. So we debunk space, but we don't want to debunk fossilization and paleontology. Eric Dubé got a good video debunking fossilization, by the way. And they finding out that a lot of these Australopithecus bones were sheep bones, goat bones. This is stuff y'all can research. Like, think about it. Why would I come on the internet and tell you to prove me wrong? Go do your research. I got entire streams you can watch before this one. You can go to Chat GPT, put in all of the fossils and put in all of the forgeries in paleontology, and you will see is mostly everything that people pulling up today as proof. Why isn't no one telling folks this stuff has been proven to be lies? So, like, it's crazy that people think over millions of years, organic material can turn into hard stone. No one can explain the process by which this happens. And even the people that's talking the mud fossil stuff don't have a process. That's why they got to lean on fossilization and what science is saying, and give y'all the same fossils that the same people who lying to us about space is giving us to prove dinosaurs, evolution, and all that. See, this community is so infiltrated. That's why I don't even go that hard no more with the flat earth stuff. Because I'm saying people just not critical thinking. It's a lot of hypocrisy. People know we can prove the earth flat, and we say prove all things. But some stuff even flat earthers don't want to prove. We want to say that is a giant, that's a giant penis right there, Sanchez. That rock formation, that's a giant's cock. And I say, well, can you give me the scientific process of how it got here? Like how this thing just erected right out the ground? Like, can you explain how this biological organic material gets frozen into stone? Can you do that? They can't. They'll just start pulling up fossils for you. And I'm like, wait a minute, these fossils come from the same liars though. You feel me? If you tell them to explain their mud fossil claims, they don't have their own explanation. All of the mud fossil people, they're using the same fossilization science that the mainstream paleontologists is giving us. That's why I say it's hypocritical for us to use their stuff to prove dragons while saying they lied about dinosaurs.
A fossil that looked like this, even though they called a plesiosaur, that sure looks like a dragon to me. And just
so you can't argue with these people about some shit they found. But I can tell the world, listen, What they found is a lie, it's a forgery, and they can be potentially trying to get us to think dinosaurs are real so that we can deny dragons. But we know that ain't the case, because guess what they doing? All of the people who believe in dinosaurs, think about it. We live in a Christian nation. And these Christians are the people who believe in evolution and dinosaurs. And it doesn't contradict with their biblical faith. You know why? Because Christians teach that dinosaurs are biblical dragons. You can't tell all these Christians that the same fossils the scientists using to prove dinosaurs, they're wrong, but the Bible's right about dragons. They're going to say, listen, bro, dinosaurs are dragons. What are you talking about, you flat earther? You see what I'm saying? And they would be right. Because how are you going to debunk them using a fossil that they found? It's their fossil. Think about this. Imagine this. They dig a fossil out the ground and they saying, this is what we discovered. It's a dinosaur. And you say, no, it's not a dinosaur. It's a dragon. And they say it's both of them. Dragons are dinosaurs, and we proven the Bible right with science. Now you're telling a Christian to go with just belief and no science. You can't win. Because the Christian are saying, wait a minute, this flat earther just want me to believe them. And they're trying to steal the findings of science, which is a fossil that the scientists dug up, while the lazy flat earthers set on the internet. That's how they thinking. I'm telling you how people think. They're going to say, how dare you be a science denier while using the things that science went out there and dug up and found while you didn't do the work. And they would be right. That's why I'm saying it's fair. We can't argue with them. They got a legitimate point. We're wrong here. If we're going to say they're wrong, then we can't use their evidence. That's right. If we going to say dinosaurs don't exist, then we got to deny the fossils too. You can say dinosaurs didn't exist, but these fossils are real. They just prove dragons, though. When the people who saying they found dinosaurs are trying to pass them off as dragons, the same people that's giving us dinosaurs gave us the Bible too. The Bible speak of dragons. The same people that gave us the Big Bang gave us let there be light. You see what they're doing? They're trying to say that the science is proving the Bible, which is why scientists said they found Noah's Ark. They don't care about flat earth or none of that. It's about Zionism. If everyone believed the Bible, we're agreeing that the Jews should control the world. That's right. We're agreeing that America should take over Greenland. We're agreeing to the whole Zionist agenda of world conquest ignorantly. We don't know we consenting to that. So it's deeper than flat earth. At the end of the day, you can think the earth flat, but they just don't want you to give up your theology, your Christian-based beliefs. What I mean by Christian mindset is saying everything literally. Like if the Bible said a serpent was talking, you literally believe in talking snakes. That'll be like an ancient person thinking that when I say, look, I called up my dog and he said he got out of jail the other day, an ancient person thinking that I'm talking about my chihuahua. I'm talking about my homeboy. That's my dog. But see, if you take my shit literally, that's what you would do. That's what you would do, man. Like, that's what we do to the ancestors. And guess what? Don't you know how annoying that would be if someone just took everything you said literally, even when you're trying to speak figuratively, like what humans do? Right? If I say, man, it's chilly outside, and you go out there with a bowl, you the person I'm talking about. Because you taking it literally when I'm just saying it's cold, man.
Just a few weeks after that was found, CNN reveals that their scientist actually unveiled dragon remains, not to mention how they're part of the Chinese zodiac with all real animals, and how there are over 30 verses in the Bible that reference dragons.
See what I'm talking about? And guess what? The whole thing about biblical references of dragons, the Bible ain't meant to be taken literally, y'all. And we just got to understand that. The Bible ain't meant to be taken literally. Dragons were mythological creatures that were symbolizing the Kundalini. They come from the winged serpent. And I'll show you, actually, I'll show y'all something. I'll show y'all the evolution of them because I did a whole presentation on it. Let me show you. See if I still got it. Here it is right here. The winged serpent. That's what dragons are. They are winged serpents from Egypt. Hold on a second. So the reason you will hear about them talking about dragons in the Bible and other books, think about it. The devil is a great red dragon. Does that mean literally though? The great red dragon was or the great dragon, however you want to put it, it was just the serpent within all of us. Evil isn't some roaring serpent literally like the devil, what Christians think. This, what he giving you is no different than Christianity. When you take these theological concepts of dragons literally, you don't understand these kind of stories of Apollo right here. See, Apollo is slaying the great dragon. What is the dragon here? It's a giant serpent that can fly. And Apollo is defeating the dragon. What does that mean? It means it's to harness your Kundalini energy, to balance the Kundalini forces, your earthly natures, to get them under control. That's what it means. The dragon is all spoken about throughout the Mayan culture and all that. Here it is right here. But when they talk about the devil being in the underworld, here it is right here. You see the serpent down here in the bottom? It is not literal though. It's talking about the Kundalini at the base of the spine. How many of y'all are familiar with the concept of the Kundalini energy rising up from the base of the spinal cord? Drop a 1 in the chat room, because that's what this cosmology is showing us, that the serpent is your lower self in the lowest realm, and it rises up from there to Asgard. It transforms as it do so. It gets its wings as it ascends. So as you can see right here, you got a serpent, right? And what's surrounding the serpent? 7 chakras, because this is dealing with your spinal cord. This tree is your central nervous system. See, if we want to take this stuff literally, we lose all this knowledge. The CIA know that all of these ancient symbols of the serpent was the ancestors' way of telling us that our consciousness can ascend from out of our body, and that there's more than just this earth. And the CIA are familiar with parallel realities and all this stuff. They're familiar with the idea of consciousness being out of the body. But so why would the CIA mention dragons? To throw y'all off. To throw y'all off. They want y'all to take it literally. So you see a serpent surrounded by these seven chakras, right? I can show you another one so you can see synchronicities. Here go another form of the serpent, Canufus. And look at how many stars is around it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This knowledge was taught all around the world, y'all. Now this being here is called cannabis, but in Egypt it's called Canufis, which is the original form. And I'll show it to you real quick. It's the original dragon, the winged serpent. Let's show it to you. See, they're taking our ancestral knowledge and they're corrupting it, y'all. They're corrupting it by making us take it literally. Because it was a lot of advanced knowledge behind this winged serpent. But now they want to muddy the waters with literal dragon myths. And like the CIA know better than that. They know that our ancestors were being symbolic. All of the stories we're reading about the dragon slayer, they're not real proof of dragons. It's all knowledge about rising above the lower self. That's right. The lower self was personified as the kundalini or the serpent within every man. And you defeating the devil is basically you getting control over your body, having discipline, and basically controlling your body, not letting your body control you. Because the body was seen as like the serpent, the lower self. And the people who follow the serpent are the people who the Bible say is governed by the flesh. Remember that part? So the Bible letting us know that the serpent ain't a real dragon. It's an archetype for the evil that's within every man that must be conquered, slain, and defeated. So all throughout mythology, we will see people beating up on the serpent, just like Jesus did. Jesus on the cross went down and defeated the devil. He did the same thing that Apollo is doing right now to get the keys of life, which is immortality, by conquering the body through discipline. And they don't want us having discipline. They don't want us unlocking the secrets of the central nervous system, the Jedi pillar, the secrets of unlocking a multidimensional reality through self-discipline and self-mastery. They want everyone out of control, being a consumer, not having control over your body, because they want you doing what they want you to do, which is killing each other, being over-sexualized, overindulging, and all that. So this kind of knowledge is a threat to the whole system that they built. That's why it's a lot of psychological operations going on to bring us into spookism, mysticism, and fear. Remember what I told y'all yesterday. If your idea concludes in mysticism, which means it's an open loop idea, you don't have any proof, it's just saying, listen, this looks like that, therefore it's a dragon. And since they spoke of dragons, they are real. They are real, but not in a literal sense. It's a figurative archetype that is embodying divine knowledge about who and what we are. And this is the way they hide it from us. I showed y'all this yesterday. They hide the truth by making us take the symbolism literally versus do due diligence and be good decoders, code breakers. Get your Indiana Jones on. What we're doing is lazy, is lookership. Again, it's the equivalent to eBay Cheetos. To look at this rock formation and say, you know what, that's a giant's cock. It's just sticking out the ground, erected. Hey, mic check to my caller. Who we got? My brother Quentin. Who we got? Salutes. Mic check to you.
Can you hear me, sir?
Yep, loud and clear. Talk to me. Thank you for joining. No one else would join, man. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Peace and love to the panel, everybody. Love you. I just wanted to, chime in, devil's advocate on a little few things. I think you're spot on in syncretism, the esoteric versus the exoteric, you could say. The only thing that I would suggest is, the thoughts around, I think a lot of the chat has had similar thoughts. Recent research that suggests that, Devil's Tower is somewhat, maybe not, but I would like to suggest that it's been proven that is a tree trunk. So the idea being that if you had these massive biological forms in the form of a tree, wouldn't you suggest that the rest of biology would have grown to similar stature? So, and again, I'm not coming with receipts, so I'll be laughed out.
You're talking about the giant tree stumps that we see around here. That some people say they're mountains, but others say they may be tree stumps. I'm just being clear. That's what
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Well,
and then,
well,
like say in South
okay.
America, they've got these similar plateaus where you've got these waterfalls spewing out of the tops of these, what they consider plateaus, natural formations. And so the idea is the water below coming through these tree trunks, and once all the giant trees were chopped down, that's whenever the waters rose, because there was no place for the water to go. As a theory, obviously, there's no proof there. So again, I'm kind of coming with just speculation and just ideas that, would suggest that potentially, biology grew to different unfathomable, sizes that, similar to maybe the suppression of consciousness, or just the yugas, in Vedic theology, the idea that consciousness going to its smallest state in what they call the Kali Yuga, or the age of darkness, we're so detached from who we are, what we are, where we are, and our inherent understanding of that our realm sort of shrinks relative to that conception. So as above, so below, and as within, so without. That once, it's similar to like the right hemisphere. The door to God, or the door to the higher self, is somewhat frozen, it seems like, potentially in the realm, and that we're only experiencing a very minute amount of this potential of who we are, what we are, where we are. And similarly, everything reduces down in comparison to that reduction of awareness, consciousness. And
well,
the only thing I'll say, just as a side note, is I've been made aware that there's studies of vapor canopy experiments in Texas, and then likewise there's a famous cave where people would hang organic material like teddy bears and different things of that nature. So organic material where water would run off, and very high mineralization, contextually, where it would essentially petrify this organic material in more like a decade, relative to what we're taught. The first national park that I went to in the United States was the Petrified Natural Forest. I was 24. I never even heard of petrified wood, completely ignorant, thinking I knew everything back in Ohio. Then traveled the country, and the first park that I stopped at was the Petrified National Forest. Sorry to be long-winded, but what I'm reading in this park is that this organic material was buried for millions of years, and that's the only way that it could have turned to that, phenomena that we can experience today. But
well, I want to ask you a quick question, if you don't mind. We can't really experience if the process of organic material turning into stone takes place over millions of or hundreds of years. We wouldn't be able to experience it, would we?
No, I understand.
Yeah, right.
And that's why I brought up the example of there is a famous cave where, these organic toys and objects are turning to what we have been taught would take millions of years, or at least, even if they're saying hundreds or thousands, this is happening within decades. So if I
can't go for it. I can't go for that.
Heard.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can think of how
Yeah.
to.
Okay, what do I need to Google? I'll pull it up.
Yeah, and that's why I almost regret coming on without receipts. There, 10 years ago now, I just stopped caring about trying to convince people. So I don't
But
really
trying
keep
to convince
my
them what
publish.
that, for example, let me ask you a quick question so I can be clear. You're trying to convince them, for example, that let me show you an image real quick.
I'm not sure.
I'm a screen share now. You should be able to see it in 5, 4, 3, 2, boom. You think you should see it now? A screen share. So the question I'm asking is,
Oh,
you
okay, here I see now.
yeah, you're trying to convince them that, for example, when you
Well,
said
the only thing I'm suggesting is that the science that we're taught, it goes similar to as a um, similarity, you could say. Apologies on my lack of better verbiage, but dendrochronology, the study of tree rings, or ice core samples, or carbon, dating science, quote unquote. A lot of that stuff, I used to quote dendrochronology, and I used to quote things that I thought were backing up, the theories and ideas and history that I'd been led to believe, counterintuitive to what we were taught growing up. And now dendrochronology is a complete farce, carbon 40 dating, or whatever the hell it's called. But carbon dating is a farce. So the idea of what we're taught about what it takes to hypermineralize or turn something into stone. And I'll just give a quick example. I went under the city of Marietta, Ohio, which is the first settlement in Ohio, my hometown. I did it when I was 33. Grew up there, didn't leave till I was 24, traveled 39 states, 20 national parks, 15 countries. I've done a lot since I left my hometown. But what I've come to realize is my hometown, which is the first settlement in Ohio, according to research, or according to what we're taught. In that hometown, they have a picture on a big marble thing right at the mouth of the Muskingum, the Ohio, and it shows Fort Harmar as a star fort. And then I found a way to get under Marietta, Ohio, 20 feet underneath, and I'm looking at blocks that are 2 by 2 by 8 feet. Looked like they're handmade out of ancient stonemason practices, stacked perfectly. The mortar joints perfect. The oldest was the best. The oldest was the biggest, and it was 20 feet below the street level. And I have pictures. I have a booklet from 1913, the beginning of the 20th century, where we had the catastrophic flood, the 100-year flood here in my hometown. And at that time, the street level was where it is today. So 20 feet below it, what you'll see is the remnants of, I picture something that maybe you could think of in your mind is those bridges that have those massive arches. And it seems as though they were built for, in their design purposes. I'm an architect by trade. Their design purposes seem to be more geared towards resonance and the relationship with water and et cetera. And they're the old foundations of these old bridges. That foundation is the foundation of the entire front street of this town that is supposedly the first settlement of Ohio. And it goes 20 feet at least. And then the tunnels that they've made that match these arch forms that are way below the ground level. I tried to I meant to put it on YouTube, but again, I quit trying to share anything. People are on their own path, and you know what I mean. But likewise, what you notice is that the archways went perpendicular with what you would perceive as the ground, And then the tunnels that were built adjacent to these walls, and we're talking the wall is at least 35 foot thick, with archways that are 15 to 20 feet in diameter. The archway is literally, each stone weighs, when I chat GPT'd it, each stone weighs 4,000 pounds. And they have these perfect arch forms. And so this is the foundation of my hometown. And what you find is that the courthouse, the post office, they have similar stonework as protruding from the ground level, but you also notice the archways at the ground level, which any architect knows that you don't put a window at ground level. Water is your greatest enemy. So sorry to get so far on tangents, but it's just the idea that the science of petrification and this idea of what it takes to turn.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
Is petrification over millions of years, the way that we're describing through fossilization, a real legit science? Because I don't know about. Yeah, I'll let you go there.
That's all. That is what I'm suggesting, is that we're taught that the only way for organic material to turn into stone takes, whether they're even talking centuries, it doesn't really fit with current experience, and what I try to do is just good.
Well, here's a cave here. It shapes like a female womb, right? And I don't think that it's literally the left behind remnants of a big old female giant, right? What I would suggest is that we can find shapes in nature that we can find in human biology, in animals, in plants, and everything, because it's all based upon the golden ratio.
I agree. I studied sacred geometry, 15 years ago or so, and you can find those patterns in everything. So it's easy to see patterns, even if they're, an immense difference in scale relative to our experience. And then people extrapolate and go wild. And I understand, where you butt heads with that, because I can't prove it, and so the only fallback that I would have was that, the current research that suggests that we are dealing with prehistoric, massive, unfathomable amount of size when it comes to biology, mushrooms and trees and et cetera. And so the idea being that why would the rest of biology not follow suit in terms of grandeur or size? And
I don't understand.
I know I'm stretching.
I'm not really trying to prove the existence of giants, right? I'm not denying the existence of giants. What I'm saying is we can't prove giants with the methodology that we currently have. I'm saying if a person want to prove giants, then looking at a cave and saying, well, that's a big wound from a female giant, that ain't a good way to prove it. Looking at, like, for example, if people will look at this object right here and they'll say, well, this is proof of a giant. This is a petrified penis that we found. Like, that's what they're doing right here with these two. So I got one on my thumb. So that's what I was saying. Yeah, I ain't saying whether giants are real or not. I'm saying that the mud fossil approach to proving dragons, giant, any mythological being, if you're gonna use fossils to do it, then you're done.
I agree. Opinion. Yeah, and I try to avoid any common science practices that we have today, because it just seems like you wait 10, 20 years and it's the practice is disproven. Just it's always comes down to maybe the test in many ways. They kind of skew the science through the methodology, and in terms of how would I say the existence of giants, I think it's pretty well known that we would consider a 12-foot being a giant today. so I think that we have remnants of that that's very well documented. And maybe we're just missing, because of the level of catastrophe, the significance of disruption across the realm. Who knows how big it
Wow.
gets? And we know how small it is right now, or at least how limited we are to experience it today. If it gets much larger, or it is much larger, and we're just not allowed to see it or not allowed to experience it, my opinions would be, that Mars, and I've seen information here recently, just very recently, within days, of you can go on Google Maps and you can find pinpoints where they've got NASA rovers, in Greenland, or, different parts towards the quote unquote North Pole, where they're exploring landscapes. And it's so reminiscent of what we're told that the rovers are exploring and, experiencing on Mars or the moon, et cetera. So I guess, just to fall back, we're obviously missing part of this, of our history. That's easy to suggest. No one would disagree, I don't think, here. But how much of our history do we have left, and how far can we extrapolate based on that? And the only thing I would suggest is that it seems very well known that 12-foot beings, apologies, I'm going to butcher this, but the idea of giants, and then there's different terms, giants, and then there was a term for a bigger one, but I can't remember the verbiage used. So just predating, and it just, over such a vast amount of time, we don't have any written history because of the scale of what you could call a reset, or just catastrophe, cataclysm. We're just missing so much that it's hard to extrapolate this far back. And it does kind of make us look like we're reaching, or that we are.
Well, the thing is this, it is a reach, because we're saying we got to go so far back to prove our theory of our creature, for example, dragons, right? The reason you got to go so far back is because the texts that speak of dragons are old texts, like the Bibles and stuff like that. And they weren't speaking of them literally. They weren't even speaking about the death of Christ literally. That was the death of the lower self. But that's a whole nother subject. The whole thing is this right here. When we say we got to go back far, history has been forged. Time has been, it's not even the year 2026 right now. The Greeks lost track of time. So it is a reach, because it's like, we don't know how old the earth is. We don't even know how old Egypt is for real. We can't really say for sure.
No.
So
yeah. I salute you to the syncretism, and the connections between the serpent and the Kundalini, et cetera. That embodiment of that understanding through fact, through fiction, is maybe one way to say it. But the only thing that I had to say on that regard was, it seemed like the griffin wasn't an allegorical representation, that the griffin seemed to have been potentially a creature. And with Chinese zodiac and the Chinese astrology, it seems like dragons wasn't meant to be an analogy or a mythological representation of the self, or the spirit, or the
why would you say that? Because that's what they represent, wisdom and chi energy. For example, I'll give you an example right here. Watch this.
No, I love it. Thank you.
Watch this. Do you think that the Pharaoh literally walked around with a snake on top of his head right here?
No, I think that's whenever your Kundalini reaches, maybe.
See, that's what I'm saying. So we can look at the serpents on the Pharaoh and say, yeah, don't take that serious. He's giving you symbology. But then we don't give everyone else that same respect To me, we belittle their intelligence by making them believe in fairy tale stories versus seeing how sophisticated they were with symbolism, with teaching about the self, right? Because when you look up what the serpent represent in Asia, it represents wisdom, which is why they revere it, and we don't like it because the people over here don't want us to be wise, right? Just saying.
No, I think that's a depiction of an awakened being. And, you know, it's sun worship obviously embedded in there as well. But, you know, to be able to set yourself back to the, you know, first eye or third eye, however you want to perceive it, and see that serpent, I think it's the true self looking through the optics of the lower self. You know,
everywhere on the world where they was talking about a serpent, I don't care what country you go to, it was talking about the resurrection of the soul. In every anytime you hear it, any creature that's synonymous to a serpent, like this one here, this is the feathered serpent, Kukulkan. It's not literal. It's talking about the Kundalini rising up out of everyone on earth knew that the soul was immortal. And they was teaching the story of resurrection. When people say, what was everybody teaching before Jesus? The same thing, that when you die, your soul ascend and resurrect. But now when they changed it, they said only Jesus resurrect, and we got to believe in him for resurrection. That's how they created world religion. But before that, it wasn't no world religion. It was about us understanding that this serpent was within all of us. So if you look at this serpent, it's called Canopus. You see the spikes on the head. It's the same thing we see in Mesoamerica. A serpent with spikes on the head. Everywhere you go, you will see this, and no matter where you go, it means the same thing. Resurrection, the ascension of the soul, even here.
And the only other thing I'll say, and I'll fall back, is that, you know, in terms of like the complexity of awareness that we can, you know, rise to, is where we, in my opinion, we can see so many truths in such little detail. Now, one thing that I came across many moons ago was this idea that the serpent, and conquering the serpent, you could say, or defeating your demons, had some relationship, and apologies if this just completely derails it, as parasites. The idea that parasites have some connection or relationship to demonic possession. And I went through cleanses, and, you know, I'm pretty adamant about it. And, you know, I freak people out by talking about it, so I shut up a long time ago. But you know, the syncretism and being able to see what you're relaying through that iconograph. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Iconography. But and then likewise being able to see that similarity, or well, that other truth that may be embedded, because the best part about the oldest stuff is it embodies so much truth that, you know, it can be deciphered and discerned in a variety of ways, and you can pull so much truth out of one, you know, pot. You know, there's that saying, you know, chew up the fat and spit out the bones. You know, I don't know. Maybe that's not perfect.
I think our problem as flat earthers, I'm going to tell you what I think the problem is. It's nothing wrong with guys believing in dragons and all that. It's something wrong when you go out there and try to pass it off as fact. I like what you did. You said, look, I can't prove it. That's being humble. That's not what these other people are doing. That's what I was saying. It makes us all lose credibility as flat earthers. You know, it makes
the beginning of all wisdom starts with knowing what we don't know. I don't know. I fucked that up, but yeah, I appreciate you. Thank you, sir. And couldn't be happier to, you know, be a part of the community, and love to everyone here and the panel. And thank you, Bro Sanchez, for continuing to do what you do. I've researched my entire life. I've been searching for answers, and I didn't find you until after I felt like I found most of them, but I don't think I know anything. I'm here with questions just like yourself,
I'm with you.
as you stated. I'm not here with answers. I'm just here with compelling thoughts potentially.
Oh yeah, man. I'm enjoying your call. You can stick around as long as you want, but if you gotta leave, man, it was awesome. I look forward to another one with you for real.
Thank you, brother.
We got King Infamous joining us on the panel. What's good, King Infamous? Mic check.
How you doing, brother Sanchez?
I'm doing good. Talk to me.
Yeah, I don't know what certain people that think about how you dropping your diamonds and your gems. And then I just want to pull up just to, I be in the bushes. I be watching how you create your content and especially how you break things down into parentheses so people can actually, actually. Some of my people don't understand it, but most of our people understand it, especially with your colleagues and your constituents that is here, respectfully. So I respect that. I just pulled up. I'm not here to troll. I just want to be
You mind if you
additive.
mind if I take 1 second to acknowledge my brother Hydrogen? Thank you so much for the super chat, Hydro, and thank you so much. We got a new person that joined our channel by the name of Wound Socket Truth Seeker. Thank both of y'all for your support. Go ahead, King Infamous. Thank you. Go ahead, man. What you got for me?
Yeah, and then it's like we got now is I be looking on TikTok and I be on these, streaming platforms. And I be watching content. I do my own content. That's here and all that. It ain't about me. But listen, and then I seen this dude in particular that's on your screen. And then it's like they is actually, in my opinion, trying to tell us what it is. But we know what it is though, but they don't. And they thinking that it is, but it ain't. In my opinion, I'ma just land it because I don't want to be long winded. Salute to you for having me up here, brother
No doubt.
Sanchez.
No doubt. And by the way, I think Tyler Hansen is a dope content creator. I think that when it comes to flat earth, he's dope. But I just don't think we're going about the dragon and all that stuff. Like, I don't really think we got all the proof to claim it definitively like he's doing. But, I ain't even tripping on him. Can we actually, hey, Quentin, if you have something to say, go right ahead. Yeah, he thinks that the island of Bora Bora is a dragon. Now, that's a big old dragon. Look, y'all see this? You see, excuse me, I'm sorry. You see this? But what I was saying is, you can point out where you can make this shape like anything. You can do this all day. I'm good at this.
Yeah, that's seeing Jesus and the Cheerios. I mean, I don't know I'm sure people have seen it in this community, but that giant looking serpent head that seems
Jesus.
am I here or no?
Say that again.
I'm not sure if I was being
No, we can hear you say it one more time.
I did, yeah, that I probably came across it a couple years, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, but this serpent head that lies between the extremities of South America and Antarctica, this supposed serpent head that is the size of Argentina itself, massive extrapolation of this idea that there's this dormant reptile that as soon as the temperatures change to the degree that they need to, like the idea that we're in a mini ice age now. A lot of the old maps, they didn't show ice. So now we obviously are showing ice.
I just got a quick question. I know you want to give us the details, but I got to ask you one quick question.
Go for it.
Could this island be a petrified dragon?
How ironic.
I can't say so.
Do you think it can, Quentin?
I can't say so. I mean, there's so much compelling, pictures, but a picture's worth 1,000 words, and experience is worth 1,000 pictures. But then there's manipulation. There's so much CGI and bullshit that you can't trust what you see anymore. And that's been accelerated in the last few years. To be able to say that is that, you're reaching beyond credulity, you could say, to the point that you are taking away from the movement, in my opinion, because people haven't even caught up. People haven't even caught up to some of the foundation principles that you lay out so eloquently. That stretching it that far, yeah, their mind is open, but I'm not sure if it's so open that they're lost. And then,
well, if this is eloquent, especially, and I don't mean to interrupt and to be a pain, but, well, you said that to present this as that, your first words was Jesus. I just want to, can you expound on that?
Joshua Tellington, thank you for the donation.
Or should I say expound? Pardon my lingo. You said Jesus.
I don't think I said Jesus, so I'm not sure who you're referring to.
No, he was
saying.
Well,
I'm talking to you.
Listen to me, King Infamous. He was making the example of Jesus in your Cheerios. It went over your head. Don't worry about it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, all right. Pardon me, bro.
Yeah, he was. I made a similar example with the eBay Cheetos. We see.
I apologize. I didn't even remember that I threw that out there. My apologies, King.
Yeah, it's all good. I just had to clarify for you. Shout out to Larry Love. Thank you for the donation, guys. Read Parasite Wretch. The pharaohs were reptilian hybrids. The serpent on the head is the cult of real. I've already went over that, man. The pharaohs wasn't reptilians, dude. And I'm gonna tell you what we can prove.
Not.
We can prove that they were transhumans, but we can't prove that they was reptilians. That's facts, though.
I have a community that I follow. They call it an edge. If it's just something that we can't prove, it's just an edge. And so the idea of, I don't have an example.
Or maybe a reach.
Yeah, exactly. I just like that. I like their terminology.
Or listen, it's my theory. Because guess what? Ain't nothing wrong with us making our own theories. Because listen, I believe the theories we come up with make more sense than the theories they come up with. We all reach a point where we have a good idea, it make a lot of sense, but we can't prove it. And that's the part when we say, hey, man, this is my theory. Ain't nothing wrong with having a theory. It's people out there that are rich just for having theories. And they ain't even got facts. You know what I'm saying?
Ironic in that.
So ain't nothing wrong with having I think we think something wrong with us having a theory, yeah.
And that was just kind of where I was going to, is that we're leaving a lot of folks behind. We've been deep into this for
who is we, though?
I don't know, the children of the light. I don't know, the people that are able to see, those with eyes to hear, or eyes to see and ears to hear.
Oh man.
So it's, I mean, you can't rush somebody.
Do you see that? Actually, I'll be to interrupt your knowledge, dude. But do you see what's on your screen right there? What do you do?
So the reason I put this on the screen,
what do you depict that?
And I'm gonna share with you why I put this up here. A brother say the pharaoh was a reptilian. Listen, The Pharaoh was trying to seek immortality with technology we couldn't comprehend because they were speaking about the technology in a symbolic way. For example, the Grail cup didn't come from the Greeks. It was a symbol that we see in Egypt. I'm showing it right now, that the Grail cup being a symbol of immortality then is not biblical. It started in Egypt. Christianity started in Egypt. So that's why I'm showing us the origins of immortality and the Grail cup. Why is this important? Because when the Grail cup idea went to the Greeks into modern papacy in the church, which is what we see on the right with Christ,
Papacy.
what happens when they did that, King Infamous, don't interrupt me. I ain't being a tyrant. I'm trying to give them something. So check this out, right? When the Grail cup went to the Greeks, the papacy, what we see with Jesus on the right, that's when they start talking about it's a magical relic. It's symbolic. But in Egypt, it was never no magical stuff. It's technology that they're hiding in the past. Why can't we see that? When we take the technology away from the past, then we got to come up with myths and sagas and legends. When they was talking about the dragon being lifted up, it was because they had technology, brain-computer interfaces to literally mind upload, to transport consciousness. And their word for consciousness back then was the serpent within you. The serpent, the chi, the sine wave. So when we talk about, like, we've really, they trying to hide all of this advanced history of this advanced technology in the past. All of these symbols in Egypt, it was never meant to be taken literally. So if you take it literally, you would have to believe that a cup was giving people immortality. But the cup on top of the head was a brain-computer interface chip, just like what I'm showing you here. They didn't call it that. They call it a grail. So because the terminology is different, they basically rewrote history and had a technological past and rewrote the technological achievements off as miracles. So people was raising the dead, but they didn't have defibrillators like what we got. So it must have been magic. It was miracles. Now, when I come along and take away the magic and the miracle talk, people call me the dummy when I'm the one bringing the technology back into the conversation, not the magic tricks. It's backwards today. Shit is backwards today.
Like mythological creatures.
It's crazy, man. People prefer the folklore, the fairy tales over, hey, the ancestors were very advanced, and they're not telling us that they had advanced technology, that we're just now reverse engineering.
Another thing I would suggest is that potentially that Egypt was purported to being the old world, but it was really the new world after the Americas fell, whatever. And that, like Memphis, Tennessee was the original Egypt, and that the Mississippi was the Nile, and, all those, theories. Again, now I'm reaching far past the average individual. So again, leaving the majority behind.
I don't think so, because I've been hearing that the Mississippi was the Nile for so long. I've even said it myself. I don't think it's reaching past the every average individual. I think collages like what's on the screen right now, you ain't gonna hear from nobody. You hear people talking about dragons and all that, but they not talking about brain-computer interfaces in the old world. They rather us talk about lizard people achieving immortality versus transhumans achieving immortality. Now, which one make most sense?
Transhuman, in my opinion.
Quinn don't want to say it. I don't see why it's taking so long.
And I sat with it. I don't really have an opinion.
But they take it a different term mental, but that's their daughter.
You got one, you just don't want to give it. Shout out to Texas Real for the donation. He said that's why Obama, Clinton, Epstein, Elon, they are all into the Phoenicians' purple lotus serpent. Now check this out, right? the people in power want us to think that they're lizard serpent people, but the serpent is symbolic for shedding your skin. Guess who can shed their skin? The hive mind, AI. They can body swap. They can body swap with Neuralink. If 3-4 people got Neuralink, they can share the same consciousness. I can experience your breakfast with you when you eat it. You can feel me when I eat mine. We're interconnected. So the concept of like a person that don't die, they just swap bodies. It ain't death. It's what they call the Passover. Jesus didn't die. They called it the Passover for a reason, because they was talking about beings that were literally uploading their consciousness into bodies via Neuralink, and that you can actually at the end of your lifetime just shift your consciousness, swap to another body through mind uploading technology. So this is like a snake shedding its skin. Now, if you want to take this stuff literally, that's on you then. Because if you think that people was being healed with a serpent staff with a snake wrapped around a stick, that's on you. Because I'm gonna tell you, if you really read between the lines, if a snake bites you, how do we heal you? We give you the vaccine, or what they call the serum. They take the snake venom and they create the cure out of the snake venom, and they give you that in a syringe, and it saves your life.
The
Now
serum.
Right. So my whole thing is, a snake wrapped around a stick is just a symbolic way of showing syringe. And I can show you that. The medical caduceus is just that. Because you can't, here's the thing. A person can't tell me by literally wrapping a snake around a stick that's going to heal a person. That's idiotic. So why don't we break the symbols down? Like if I see a dude walking around with a cup on his head saying, this cup gives me immortality, I'm not going to go to my kitchen sink, right, and get a cup. Like, why take it literally?
I would take the serpent rising that staff is, raising the lower self to the higher self, or the higher understanding. And the only thing I would suggest is that all this technology just goes underground and reintroduced. You can look at like all of the common luxuries that we have today. Most of those were all started in 1902, and they all started the same year.
You're not we though.
What is this we thing you keep saying?
He's just speaking in general, man. I don't
Okay,
think
all right. My bad.
we don't
brother.
want to time up we don't want to make a deal if it ain't one.
I am you as you are me, and we are all together. So I mean, whenever we say the we thing or what
Okay.
for you, I'm sorry. I do take the position that I'm
You
human.
fine.
My
I
bad,
totally
brother.
get where you going with it. I ain't tripping on it.
My bad, brother Sanchez.
Nah, y'all good. See, I'm gonna show you when people say the pharaoh was a lizard man or a reptile. Look at this, man. Listen, people, this what we gotta realize right here.
Come on.
This what we gotta realize. How did the pharaoh get power? How did the first dynasties in Egypt get their power, y'all? No one can answer that. History is even confused on that. So here's my theory, right? The first dynasties that rose to power, right? They weren't human. They were the first transhumans experiment with technology that gave them an edge over everyone. Guess what? The first people in our time that get Neuralink and all that, they ain't gonna be human. They gonna be transhuman, and they gonna be the new upper class. Everyone that don't transform to a transhuman, you're going to be at the bottom of society. You're going to become obsolete. This happened before. Ain't nothing new under the sun. And in my opinion, when they said that the pharaoh was trying to achieve immortality, and I think he did. Now, we achieving immortality by 2050 with Neuralink. And Neuralink resembles the technology that we see on a pharaoh's head. So the stuff we see that the Pharaoh walking around with on his head, it would have weighed 5 to 10 pounds. You think you're gonna walk around in hot ass Egypt all day with that on your head? That's crazy. It's time that we start looking at this stuff as equipment. Equipment. We got to, because I think technology in the past is being hidden right in front of our face. What gave the Pharaoh the abilities he had to communicate with the dead? Now, people will say, well, the Pharaoh had magical powers. He was a reptilian. But guess what? In the year 2050, you're going to be able to talk to the dead with Neuralink. Because what's happening is before people die, they can upload their soul into a digital world or the internet, the metaverse, and live on. That's why the Bible say in the end of days, the dead and the living gonna walk the earth together, because we're bringing back this old Egyptian technology. There are some people walking among us. They are already chipped up and they've been on the earth for years. They're immortal because this is ancient technology that they bringing back. When we are able to be immortal by 2050, it's because they already cracked into it. We get everything late. Just remember that. But
what do you think? What do you think
yeah,
about the idea that they've infiltrated and co-opted the natural rise of the self to the higher self, and they gave a path of least resistance through technology, and the idea that conquering your animal self or your lower instincts, your primal instincts, etc. It takes work, and it might take lifetime. I mean, it does take lifetimes, but in my opinion, and then the idea of utilizing technology to become immortal or eternal. And really the Pharaoh with the crown, or the symbology that you see, similar to what you're showing without the tech, is the awakened being realizing, coming to the re-understanding, or renewing the awareness. I don't know, I'm trying, of your eternal self, of your true self, and that there's an infiltration, whether it be, through nanotech or, I honestly do have a strong opinion about the idea of parasites, but seems like there's a connection with heavy metals and, nanoplastics and all kinds of other stuff that they're there. Your body creates that for a reason. I don't know, but yeah, just that co-opting of the path of Christ, but integrating this idea that tech is the way to immortality or being eternal, and that the path of least resistance is always very warranted, especially for as dumbed down and as malnourished as we are today, that it's easier for us just to choose tech as the path forward to enlightenment or a higher self, instead of doing the work that Christ suggests, which is walking the path of the golden rule. Treat everyone as if you living a different life, and that we're all here as a reflection of each other. Life's a mirror, but it's harder to embody Christ's message. It's so much easier just to allow technology to be the God instead of who you are and what you are.
but I don't think that we can actually throw it off the table, the fact that Christ wasn't some sort of transhuman or tech guru, because I don't like to go for the idea that he was some magician or miracle worker. If he was healing people, then he had some instrument, some technology that the historians don't want us to know about. They rather you say, well, this was God in the flesh, healing the blind, healing the sick, but never freeing the slaves. Some God.
Yeah, I a loss for words a little bit, but the idea that does it take away the power of self? You know, the idea that you can't be like Christ, and that Christ is something that's within and not a person, and that the path is just the straight and narrow, you know, as best as you can walk it until you can, you know, be without the animal urges, you could say, or the lower self desires. And I think all those fall away the more that you work on it. And there was a book I read called The Autobiography of a Yogi, and there was a documentary that I found years later. It was called, it was Paramahansa Yogananda Awake, I think is the documentary. And in that documentary, there was an individual, he was talking about going to the Guruji, or however they say it, the guru. And he talked about how he was having a conversation with Yogananda, and Yogananda said, you know, do you drink? He said, yes. Do you like the company of the opposite sex? He said, yes. He said, that's okay. He said, do you gamble? Yes. That's okay. He said, but I will not promise you that if you continue to come up here and receive these teachings, that your desire to do those things will not fall away from you. And so the idea is that, he said, you mean I can go down there and I can drink and I can swear and I can, you know, gamble and, you know, enjoy the promiscuous sex of another? And he said, yes, that's all fine. He said, but I cannot promise you that if you continue to receive these teachings, that your desire to do so will not fall away from you. And I think the further that we walk this direction, that, you know, the desire or the idea of doing those things, you know, just loses interest. That the real true goal is the self-realization, you know, the coming to who you truly are. And once you find that, you don't need technology. You're more powerful than anything that could ever be and ever will be. And so just as a message of, you know, in my opinion, I would think Jesus would be a nomad, and he found Christ through the separation from these comforts and these luxuries.
You said Jesus found Christ?
Yeah, it found himself. This is another way that I would portray it, perhaps.
So yeah, are you saying that? Go ahead.
Go ahead, Redden.
Are you saying that if you be extra, like I'm trying to figure out how to say this, because it sounds like you saying it's a way how to do the same thing that the technology doing without using the technology? Is that what you're trying to say, Quentin?
Yeah, but more.
Yeah, I agree. The technology ain't nothing but reverse engineer it.
Yeah,
it's just them reverse engineering what we already, our abilities anyway, you know.
There you go. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, it sounds like you was trying to say that.
It's co-opting the ancient teachings, the archaic knowledge of the self, and it's co-opting it to the point that it's giving you an easier way to the self, or at least it's trying to convince you, in my opinion. You know, we have that inherent urge to become who we are, to become ourself, our true self. And so the idea is that that eternal being that we know we are, they're slipping in this, you know, nonsense that this is the way, and it's inevitable also. And
okay, so look. So Sanchez, I want to get back to the point where you was talking about the first dynasty. So you saying that the people that naturally, and back to Quentin, you basically saying that the people that naturally know how to do stuff lost to the people that's using the technology, and they overcome the people that actually know how to do it?
That's what I'm saying, how the first dynasties of the world took over. I don't think the people just handed them the power. I don't think they just physically beat up everybody and nothing like that, because they less than 1%. I think what happened was some people became transhumans, and we couldn't kill them. We had to let them be treated as humans. Like, what would happen, right, if a bunch of humans become superhumans with Neuralink? Where we say, hey, y'all can't get jobs because that ain't fair. You can't play with us because we got to let them still have human rights, even though they're not human. So that's kind of is messed up, because it makes it to where all the humans got to now, you got to kind of chip up or get some perks to compete, because, and that's what I think happened. And I think over time, you had the transhumans blending in the human ranks, or wolves in sheep clothes, because that's what we call mankind versus man, or the pre-Adamites, or what they calling reptilians now, or NPCs. These are ancient transhumans that can't die because they chipped up. I'm saying the pharaohs of the past literally achieved immortality, and it was worldwide. It's my theory.
Yeah, Nate, there's documentation that shows, Aldous Huxley was part of their symbol was the wolf in sheep's clothing, but it started with an F, something society, Febro, I don't know, it doesn't matter. And so the idea being that Christ became complacent in many ways because we were so in touch with ourselves and an awareness of who we are, what we are, where we are, that we got comfortable. And this, in my opinion, this infiltration took advantage of that complacency and has essentially led, the sheep to slaughter. And we've lost touch with who we are.
I need to get a mic check from Jamari real quick, just to be safe. Shout out to you, Quentin.
Oh, my fault.
Awareness.
Right, just make sure, yeah, man. But I mean, the whole show was really me trying to say that, looking at the shapes of stones and saying, well, it's shaped this way, so it's a dragon, right? That's, to me, is no different than what they doing with fossils, with dinosaurs. But we just calling it a petrified dragon. Why they can't call it a fossilized dinosaur? That's my question, for real, what I really wanted to get down into, if we ain't scared to do that. Shout out to you, Global Status.
And sorry to go so far on a tangent. And the only thing I'll say, and I'll fall back, is that similar to the co-op, nature of that entity, you could say, where did they come up with the idea of dragons? Or I'm sorry, where did they come up with the idea of dinosaurs? Is there truth in fiction? Because I've watched the Eric Dubé documentaries. I've watched all of his documentaries, and salute to him for a lot of the material that he's published apart from flat
Gotta
Earth.
take everybody's stuff with a grain of salt, because anybody trying to pass dragons off literally is childish to me. Because when you asked the question, you said, so where did they get the idea of dragons from? If I'm showing you, we shouldn't ask that no more. It ain't no big mystery where the idea of dragons from. I'm showing right here. This tradition of the winged serpent, it was symbolizing the resurrection of the soul. People want to make it a mystery, like we don't know where the concept of dragons come from, so they can come with open the door for all these crazy theories. No one like the simple truth that it just means the serpent. Are you familiar with the concept of the Kundalini being represented as a serpent? Let's start there.
Yeah, that's kind of like the root to the beginning of my journey.
Okay, then the next question would be, are you familiar with the concept of the Kundalini rising up to heaven?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
So that's when the serpent get wings.
Oh, I like that. I like that a lot. And I never really, connected the two. And the only thing I was trying to suggest is that they're taking something that was known. Well, how would I say it? Something that was, and then creating creating what they knew was, because they can't prove it. They can't show that, these beings were prevalent, or coexistent, and that they created a narrative and they fabricated, the evidence and the testing, et cetera, to point to a truth, but they actually don't have any evidence to do that. But it takes away from the actual truth. So they created a narrative, a false history that is similar to a reality, and it just muddies the water to the point that we're all arguing over details that shouldn't matter. Because the truth that matters is what you're teaching. The reality of beings, winged serpents, etc., that doesn't really take away or give to what we're trying to convey, which is, the power of what resides within. Everything is as within, so without. So sorry.
Yeah.
I like to give pushback on that though, because to me, I think dragons are real. Now it might sound childish, but
No, that ain't no childish thing. What's childish is saying it but not proving it. That's what we here to do. You gotta prove, not just say. It's a bunch of say was what I was saying.
well, I look at it like order. You know what I'm saying? Like we know it's the same way that we know that there's beings above us, but it's hard to have concrete evidence, but we do have some evidence of higher power. Like I believe that's where mystery coincides with order. Like everything can't be revealed based on how you live in your life, your intentions, and so forth. But I do very much believe that dragons are real, and
I'm
that's where
glad you said believe, my man. Go ahead.
I'm with you, brother.
I
I'm
mean
with both. I'm with both. And guess what? I can respect y'all because listen, when you say belief, we all cool, man. Because guess what? Some kids believe in Santa Claus. Some people believe in the Easter Bunny. Listen, everyone got beliefs. And guess what? I ain't here to debate a person's beliefs as long as they don't try to pass them off as facts. And Quentin was respectful enough to say, hey, this is just my belief. And you brothers are teaching everyone else the maturity that they need when dealing with this subject. So I'm giving y'all props. If everyone do what y'all two are doing, man, it wouldn't be no problems. But if a person say it's factual, I'm going to challenge it. I'm going to say, prove it. You know what I'm saying?
I can't really argue with that, but like it's certain things that are factual. Like we know that numbers are factual. We know that numbers are real things. It's certain facts. I look at what facts point to. Now, don't get me wrong. Uh, they can point to multiple things. You know what I'm saying? But
So, and one thing you said there are people in the sky in a higher realm that we can't prove. Well, let me just say this. I can prove the existence of my ancestors on a higher plane, but I can't prove it to you. I can prove it to me. But stuff like that ain't meant for you to prove it to everyone. I think your spirituality is personal. That's why when you dream and have a certain dream, people can say you lying. I don't believe you had that dream, but guess what? You and the universe know that experience because certain things the universe don't want you to be able to prove. It's a personal thing. It's just for you. You see what I'm saying?
yeah, I see what you're saying. I feel like everybody got access to it though, whether they seek it or not. because you know, with seeking comes manifestation. So you know, yeah, it's definitely personal. You know what I'm saying? But it just like the numbers on your birthday, it's personal, but those numbers still intertwine with a bigger number scale. Like we all have a number far as our birthdays. So but they still intertwine. They still have a common reality, even though we have different numbers. So that's how I kind of look at it when it comes to things, dealing with things like
I'm
this.
confused.
It's definitely personal, man. You guys, you know, if that's what you believe, or that if you want to say that's what you know that it's definitely
So
personal,
now,
man.
when you take your personal belief and you try to build a following with it by passing it off as fact, that's called a cult and a religion. Just to let y'all know, and those are the people I'm calling out.
But see, when it comes to them coats, I don't look at coats. Well, I don't think I look at coats with the average eye, because we know that with coats, because you know I do deal with words. So you know, dealing with code, you know, we got culture, we got cultivation. So
I'm
but
not
these are
speaking of cult in that context. I'm speaking in cult term. I gave a definition. I said when you're trying to pass off your person, like Jim Jones, right? When you're trying to pass off your personal belief, right, as facts. So guess what I've learned how to do? I've learned how to say, man, this ain't my personal belief. This is what the ancestors taught. And when I say that, I can show them the ancestors that taught it. I can pull up the Yoruban cosmos and say, look, here go the Yorubans. Then I can say, look, this what the Dogon show. And then they see it ain't me passing off my stuff as facts. It's me literally being a historian teaching ancestral concepts. You see what I'm saying?
yeah, I'm saying the same thing for real. That's what I'm
So what
saying.
what I'm saying is that dragons in a literal sense was never an ancestral concept. And I'll give you an example. Do you think that there are people that exist on Earth that look like this?
No, not today.
Quentin, what about Quentin? You think there are literal people that got wings and a serpent tail for legs, Quentin?
I laughed. I laughed out loud. I had my mic muted. Whenever you said it, I laughed loud.
So,
So
but
yes, sir.
see, it'll be people that'll say, well, that is a winged mermaid, and they are real in the past, and they found the mermaid skeleton. See, and these are the things I'm saying about taking ancestral stuff literally is really a mockery of it, because the divine science behind a symbol like this is very profound when it's talking about the ascension of the soul. And if everyone knew this, it'll undermine world religion. It'll undermine the papacy, the mosque, the religious zealots of the world that have enriched themselves off us taking this stuff literally and not seeing how it's deep knowledge about us. You know what I'm saying? About us, if you have a soul.
See, this my thing though. All right, I'm liking this conversation too. But this is my thing too though. When we speak about, we know that we got it's higher beings than us. I'm trying to see what y'all think they'll look like, because I feel like they're giving y'all
I got
exactly
you.
what the higher beings look like.
So our ancestors said that when our soul leave the body, it's just a better, more refined version of you. So I'm gonna give you an example. You know how everybody today they going online using AI to make like a better version of themselves. Like they may be a little chubby, but they may make an AI version with abs. They'll give themselves a little muscles. They may make an AI generated video of themselves doing karate, even though they never really learned karate in real life, right? So the ancestors, to give you an example of what they were saying that a better version of you that is based upon all the mistakes you made and all the lessons you learned in your lifetime, you will take that knowledge with you in your next incarnation to make a better version of you, which is very comforting to know. It's very comforting to know that even if I can't keep this money, even if I can't keep none of this material, it is good to know that I don't gotta relearn all these mistakes I made. That's important. So that I would say the universe is being very merciful to us by saying, look, I'm not gonna delete your memory. Now I'm gonna take your money and all the material shit, but your lessons, I ain't that, I'm gonna just let you keep what you need to make you better for your next version. Because you gonna get all of that shit back because you're gonna be a better version of yourself. If your older version acquired all that stuff, then your better version gonna acquire even more. So the universe is looking at the knowledge as power. Because it's like a rich person can get rich anywhere with the knowledge of how to attract wealth.
Salute. I love
But
that.
see, okay, so when you
Yeah.
speak of knowledge, this is what I'm saying. All right. Because when you speaking of knowledge, it's like you got two sides of knowledge. You got the, you got the knowledge that's kind of like public, then you got the forbidden knowledge. So still, when we talking about these different knowledges, this what I refer to about the higher beings. Like you got beings that protect this knowledge. You got beings that give you access or that deny you of that knowledge. I'm not talking about you as a better person. I'm talking about the administrators. Like the same thing. The reason how you get police and officers, like those are appointed beings that police the universe, that police different
That's
planes.
just called universal law. That's it. Certain shit
No,
it's just
but
law.
listen, because down here on Earth, you have physical form of law, which is the police officer. Even though it's written out as well, you still have you have enforcers. So it's a life ain't nothing but a mirror, correct? So you have police officers in the form of
This what I'm telling you though, bro. Here's the thing. When you talk about an earthly authority, we got to think of what Earth is. It's a simulation. Think about the Matrix movie. In the Matrix movie, you got agents, and the agents in the Matrix are, you can't tell them apart from humans, but when you get out the Matrix, you can see who they are. They're just machines on the other side. The truth is revealed beyond the veil. So in the spiritual realm, the deception can't exist because it's an open book. All truth is revealed beyond this plane. The agents in the Matrix are powerful because within the simulation they can manipulate. They can do little magic tricks and stuff. But outside the simulation, it's just force with force. I know who you are. You know who I am. You can't deceive me. Ain't no wolf in sheep clothes stuff. Because the only way the wolf can put on sheep clothes is by the AI getting a human body and blending in with us. When we get out the body, though, we see who is who. So my thing is, it ain't so mirror like what you think, because within this simulation, everything has a layer over it, or we're dealing with stuff with an interface in between it, but we're not interacting with the true thing. It's more of a projected avatar of a thing. So you need to know that. And as far as spiritual forces that's policing the universe, I think that's a fear we create. The soul in your body is the strongest force in the universe. It's equivalent to the damn Big Bang energy. You got infinite energy inside of you. Tell me what the hell can police that?
Salute to that. And I'll just say that, peacekeepers became policy enforcers. So they're not thinking beings. They're not you and I. I mean, in my opinion.
So what these beings do, because they really don't have no power on us. What they gotta do is convince us to self-destruct out of our own ignorance and our own ideologies. That's the only power they got. Because what'll happen is, what people don't realize, knowledge is power, and ain't nobody stopping us from getting knowledge. Guess what? We getting it now, ain't it? See, they can hide knowledge, but they can't stop you from searching for it.
but they kind of have done
Facts.
it
Facts.
because when we look at the Bible today, they stop you from because they didn't ripped out some of the pages. They didn't
Guess
stop
what
you
though? You
from
can go get all them. Listen, every book that was removed from the Bible, you can go buy it. You can pull it up online. The Book of Jubilees, the Book of Law, every one of them. You can literally read it for free on PDF right now. That's the beauty of the internet.
There you
but
go.
but it's still knowledge
See
that
how
they
we?
hold.
But
He
see,
trying to go
here's
to
the,
the next
here's the
one. Go ahead.
thing. Here's the thing right here. The enemy made you have to go through hell and hot water to get the truth. But he didn't say you couldn't get it. He just said, I'm going to make it so hard for them. They're going to literally have to be like Indiana Jones investigators to decipher to get this truth. And most of them going to be too lazy to do all that. So I win. And he was right.
And not even just lazy, but scared, because it's a lonely path to follow these old,
Definitely lazy. That's
books.
it. It's just
But
laziness.
it's beyond lazy too. It because a lot of people when you get, let's say you get some ancient knowledge, you can't, even though you read it, you can't access it because the knowledge is asking a certain discipline from you that you don't have.
You know,
And that's
every
what I'm
But
time, let
saying.
me tell y'all something. People will not get knowledge by giving themselves an excuse to what you can't do once you get the knowledge versus what you can do when you get the knowledge.
No, I'm just being real. I'm just
right.
being real. It's just like you walking up in the room and you got two thick red bones that want to get down. Ain't too many men finna turn it down. I'm just talking real. I'm talking about discipline. Like that discipline be a lot of reasons why we denied of a lot of things. The way you eat, if you exercise, it ain't, this ain't me
I
taking no
don't
side.
understand how we
I don't know
going
what you.
to
I don't know what you talking about. So
I'm
I'm
you
talking
just now said that it's books in the Bible that's gone, and we just told you you can look for them. You didn't even know that. So you showing signs of being lazy
right
because you ain't
and
look
lost.
at.
lack
I'm just
right.
saying. I'm
You
saying.
showing a lack of discipline, right?
No, I
Listen,
think
though.
You projecting right now, brother.
no,
No, this is
I
what I'm
think what
saying.
global status is saying. A salute to all y'all, right? It's the Wriggles, right? I
What's
think
good,
what
T-Rex?
global status is trying to get at is that yeah, you can read about all the knowledge, but experiencing it, these are two different things. And that experience, I think global status is saying that you got to prove yourself worthy in
Right,
order
because
to
guess
get
Now
what?
watch
that.
this though. Watch this. If that's what he's saying, it still don't make no sense. Here's why. We're saying get the knowledge. He's saying, but when you get the knowledge, you got to get the experience. But guess what? You still got to get the knowledge before you get the experience. So what are we doing?
I don't
Exactly.
No,
even.
but that's what I'm
Exactly.
saying though. When we talking about gaining knowledge, meaning just because you read it, you still
But
haven't gained all that
but
knowledge. Just
now, but
like
guess what
reading.
you did? If you telling me the end goal is to get experience, then the first goal is to get the knowledge first, right?
Right.
If we agree on that, then I don't even know why we can prolonging this thing. We're agreeing right now. I'm
Knowledge
clearing it up.
knowledge
Yeah.
is
That's
useless
why.
without
That's why
action.
knowledge is power. Because once you get the knowledge, you are gonna have the power. So if you don't got the knowledge, you are gonna be saying, "Well, I can't do it." You can't do it because they're gonna stop you. But once you get the
No,
knowledge, you're not gonna be talking like that.
listen, bro. Listen, it ain't Dave. That's what I keep trying to tell you. It's not
I'm
Dave.
repeating you. I'm repeating what you
No,
said.
no,
So
I'm
I don't
repeating
know.
what I'm saying though. You're trying to make what I'm saying. I'm telling you exactly what I'm saying. You have to listen. So what I'm saying is you be the one that stop you. That's what I'm saying. So this is what I'm telling you. Like because when you read knowledge, that's not the full knowledge just because you read it. That don't make it just because
But
we can read
we're not saying
that.
we're reading knowledge. We're saying when you go out there and do experiments to prove the truth is a form of knowledge, right? I'm not reading that 2 + 2 is 4. I'm going to take 2 sticks and add 2 sticks with them and see, oh, yeah, that's 4.
Right. So that's what I mean. A lot of people ain't getting the knowledge even when they read it. That's the point I'm making.
Because I'm
That's the point
telling
I'm
you that
making.
you don't get knowledge from reading, you get knowledge from proving what you read. If I read in the Bible that the earth flat, that didn't give me knowledge. What's going to give me knowledge if I go out there and do an experiment and prove what the Bible said, which is why the Bible said prove all things. It didn't just say read me.
That's wisdom. Wisdom
was
is when you
Oh
apply
my
the knowledge.
God,
That's
boy.
wisdom. Man, I
global.
You
wasn't
got
talking
well, you
about
got all the
wisdom.
answers, boy. You
No,
was,
I don't, bro. I just got what I got though. You can't take that away from me. Wisdom
Well,
is when you apply knowledge. I wasn't talking about wisdom. I was talking about simply knowledge, how that you don't have it all the simple because you haven't applied the knowledge. That's
you're
all
getting
I was
emotional.
saying. So hold on. This is what I'm saying though. This is what I mean about when a person's saying what's real and what ain't real, because they have the knowledge, but they
do
don't
you
have the
know what proof
wisdom.
is? You know what proof is, right?
Bro,
Without a doubt, right? You know what that
you
means?
finna
After you
talk,
get
you
proof
finna
without
talk
a
in
doubt,
circles. You finna
what you
talk in
questioning
circles.
after that?
You finna talk in circles. Go ahead, circle man.
I just asked you a
Let's
question.
keep it professional, answer the questions and argue. Let's have a good intellectual spark. Go ahead.
I'm bringing smoke too, but yeah, I know what that is. So go ahead with your development.
I was just going to say, through divine grace, you've been blessed with a cookie crumb or a bread crumb or a piece of the puzzle, and it's only your fault or your lack of action that has, and no direct comment to anyone. Just it, you've been blessed with a very divine grace, and it saying that it doesn't. Instill or inspire or allow your divinity to rise. That's just a lack of action. So as you said, knowledge is useless without action. So that's I'll
I
follow.
agree. I agree to that too.
If you say knowledge is useless without action, this is what I was referring to
We
back
all
when we
agree to
talked
that.
about. Okay, so this is what I was referring to about the officers, bro. How it's a real person playing it, because when you talking about the laws down here, the reason why the laws are effective down here, because you literally have people who uphold the law. The law ain't just a law. You need a vessel to uphold laws.
Well,
Laws
here
just
go
don't
the
happen
thing
just
though.
because you
But
say so.
you have an alternative though. It's called living off grid, like the
Why are you combating it?
tribal people.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Right,
Sorry, bro, Sanchez.
but they still don't negate that you still have officers and that they live in, they
But
become the
but
law.
but the point is, let's say that hell exists. What we're saying is you don't gotta be in it. So what I'm saying is that the universe ain't gonna stop a volcano from erupting, but the universe will give you the choice of whether you want to stand by it or not. So there are gonna be places in the world where evil people and where there's like they said, man, stay out the streets if you don't want no problems. Get out the way, as we call it back home, and it'll take you far. You know what I'm saying? So my thing is, when I say, if you, I know we all live on a grid, an energy grid that's controlled by authorities, but I ain't gonna lie to you. There is a way out, and that means like the end goal for everybody should be to ultimately get off grid, I believe, because that's my end goal. There's so much technology now to make that possible. You can build your own shit, and I ain't making this up. It's literally people building their own towns right now, doing their own thing. And people was mad at those white folks for building a all white town, their little, because they don't like America. But I don't blame them. Everybody gonna be doing that.
I just spent 4 months off grid. I didn't inspire anybody, unfortunately. That was my only goal, to get ready for winter and then, prepare for spring. But I digress. And Buckminster Fuller supposedly is quoted as saying, if you want to fight the power or fight the system, build a model that makes the original obsolete. Stop fighting the system. Stop fighting those policy enforcers. What are you doing that is conflicting with their laws or their regulations or restrictions? Are you registering, or do you have a driver's license? But rabbit hole we're not meant to go down. But you know, my opinion is don't conflict with it, opt out. And I guess that's kind of what Bro Sanchez is saying in some way, that you don't have to fight it, you don't have to be in it.
Let
You
me
can.
let me
Let me ask you a
welcome
question, Global Status.
Emperor. Let me say shout out to Emperor Dillastone and to Jedi. Can I get a mic check from both of y'all just to welcome y'all in to the round table? Salutes to y'all.
Definitely. Mic check.
Yeah, I'm
Thank
in the
you.
building.
There we go. Good. You guys, whenever y'all want to speak, matter of fact, whichever one of y'all next, we can go after these brothers. Salutes to the panel.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask Global Status a question. Are you? Yeah, I'm hearing what you're saying. Are you saying like basically there's a hierarchy, like in the astral realm? Is that what you're speaking about, Global Status? Because you're talking about like the law people here, right? And so on the other side, there's going to be like a hierarchy, like people that are going to enforce divine law too. Is that what you're getting at?
Yes, that's exactly that's exactly what I'm saying. The reason why the sun is where is it, the moon is where is it, because you have higher beings who are the law, who are enforcers of the law. The reason why everything works the way it works. If they come off they square, and then you will see a collapse in our reality.
That's
Yes,
true.
that's
Or
what I'm
somebody
saying.
Atlas now. Wow.
Bro,
Mentality.
it's just real when you look when we because this is what when I read about the ancient ancestors, this is what I picked up on. So when they say
What you
above,
what you read? What you read? Which one
the,
was it?
the book of dead, the book of life, all that stuff, man. So this is what I'm saying though. When they say as above and as below, like I can see that from down here. I can literally see that. Like when people speak of the police, like I said earlier, the reason why nobody won't just rob a bank with good faith, because they understand the law. Now they understand that the law is not just
It ain't the
written on
law. It's
paper.
because they know they
Yo,
can't
can I say
outgun.
something?
Listen, it ain't
But
the law
this
as
what-
much as it is they know they can't outgun the police. But yeah,
Can I
Right, that's
say
what I'm
something?
saying though. It ain't just words. That's exactly what I'm saying. Because when you speak a
yeah.
law,
Yo,
when you speak a
Let
law, you
Emperor
speaking
go.
of something that's written down to the public, and we make an agreement to go by this law. So what I'm saying is, law is real pressure. It's not a phantom of
But
pressure. It's
people
like
break
a
the law every
solid
day. Every minute
pressure.
somebody breaking the law and not abide.
yo,
You know how much stop
let me
signs I
say
run and
something
how
real
much
quick,
lights
man.
I run through all the time?
But it's
And they say you
I
supposed to
consequences
stop
said,
at
though.
a red light. I run through red lights. So
Right.
what?
But guess
Somebody? Why
what?
ain't nobody stop me?
But guess what, Redner?
yo,
Guess what, Redner? If a law enforcer sees you, he's going to enforce the law upon you. If he sees you, if he
I'm
witnesses,
smoking weed, speeding. This faggot ass
right?
can't
yeah,
see
But
me.
that's if he
That's
see
me,
you.
untouchable.
but listen, no, bro.
But
But you cannot do that every day around the clock. You can't do it as you want to.
Listen, let me
You
explain
do it.
something to you.
yeah,
When you use public roadways and highways and sidewalks, you gotta follow the rules of the city, the people that the
yo,
public rules. That's why I say off grid. Yeah, go
You're
ahead.
under their
But
jurisdiction.
let
everybody
me
don't
say
even fly
something. So,
domestic. People got private jets and fly all over the world, and
Let,
we'll never see
let,
them. People, you got to go to
let's
the.
let Emperor
My
interject
bad.
real quick, and
All
then
right.
you got it, Red. You got it.
so I'm saying, I feel like the law is a program. You know what I mean? In a way that it, it's like the program can be broken if you know what I mean, just by you simply not following rules. But basically, what I'm saying is that it all comes down to public and private. That's what the law is. You know what I mean? And in your private, there ain't no rules. There ain't no rules. Just as Bro Sanchez saying that, in the public, the government is responsible for the public,
Yeah.
regardless of how you put it. So you driving, smoking, and doing all that extra shit, you now violating their code of conduct or whatever they call it. You know what I mean?
Well, but that was,
Because
first of all, that was from DMX from Belly movie. I was joking, and you could drive and smoke in the state of California, and California is on the other side, and New York is on this side. It's like, I mean, it's laws is different. You could break them or not. It's just a law. But
But see, the
I'm trying to
whole
figure out.
thing is on your own private off-grid land, you make the laws. For example, right, that in Uniontown where they had a Freaknik at and all this stuff, they do all kind of stuff in the Freaknik that'll get you locked up, man, if you just go a few steps off property. But it's on private property, and the police can't go in there. They ain't got no jurisdiction in there. And they know everybody breaking the law in there. They can't do nothing, you know. So
Like Kensington, like on Kensington, where they could just freely do drugs.
well,
But it's just like
that ain't the same. What I'm saying is this: on Kensington, it's still a public space where the city is being lenient and saying, okay, it don't make no sense for us to go through Kensington enforcing drug usage because that'll tie up damn near the whole police department with all these addicts, you know. So the city just saying, hey, fuck it, just let them kill themselves, you know. That's
Yeah,
different
that's
than you
going
having that's different than you having your own land. Say, look, I decide what the hell go on here. That's the
fact. That's facts.
And if you're going to
I
rob a bank, I mean, you're chasing the dollar. So, I mean, their laws are built around protecting their, corporate interests, and the dollar would be the primary concern. So, I mean, if you're chasing the dollar and you're chasing darkness and you get caught up in the law, I mean, you were wrong from the start. So, I don't understand the
And
I
by
know
the
I
way, I
have to.
think we having a good respectful panel, and everyone is showing good energy, man. Salutes to the panel. Y'all got it.
I know I was kind of behind on everything, but just when you guys were speaking about the dragons, like I'm in the same boat. I'm 50-50 because just the concept alone, like there isn't any pictures of a flying giraffe. You know what I mean? Like there's pictures and of dragons. Like where did they even get the concept or the
Yeah.
idea in
So
an
on.
ancient, long time ago? I
Yeah.
mean, that's the only way I could look at it. Like I'm not saying they were here or not here, but I know this much. I would say that there's more interdimensional things going on. I think that's where maybe the dragons lay at.
Are you talking about like a
Well, see,
mushroom trip?
well, nah, we ain't gonna do all that because my whole thing is we don't know how much of that real or it's just you hallucinating. You know what I'm saying? Your mind can create hallucinations as well as we can astral project, but these ain't the same either. Hallucinations are real too. But what I was saying is this: we would have to fill in the blank with all these theories if we think there's a blank. It ain't a blank. See, we got to do that once we start off saying we don't know where dragons come from. I went over that earlier. Here go the first concept of a dragon right here. Can't nobody prove me. Listen, can't nobody prove me wrong that the first symbolism of a winged serpent that we know comes from Egypt. Because this was the original roots of Christianity and what Moses lifted up in the desert. This was the Nehushtan or Canufis, the winged serpent. See, Moses was teaching about the Kundalini. Let's go back to this right here. Moses, when the magician, listen what Moses, that go to Moses' staff right there. What that look like? The spinal cord with the Kundalini on it. That's why I put this on the collage. That's what Kabbalah was based upon. Why you think it's based upon breathing techniques. And look at the dude on the left. What is he doing? Meditating. He's Indian style. This is what they do in Hinduism. They teach about astral projection. They teach about meditation, out-of-body experience, breathing techniques. So this is what they was talking about. Spirit means breath. And so a lot of this stuff had to do with meditation. It wasn't about prayer. That ain't the roots of Christianity. The roots of Christianity is the first form of Jesus was a serpent on a stick, not a dude on a cross. If you don't know that, then you won't even know where dragons come from. The dragon is a animal called a serpent. Let me just explain to y'all what a dragon is. A dragon is when you take a snake and put wings on it. Simple. That's the history of the dragon. That's literally how the dragon was created. It was when the Egyptians decided, hey, let's symbolize the soul going to heaven as a snake with wings. And now today we taking that literally of a flying snake with wings blowing fire out of its mouth.
I beg to differ. It ain't just that. I beg to differ. The dragon made up of 4 animals. When you say 4-winged serpent, a dragon is made of 4 different animals. From what
Well, let me just make something clear. You ain't differing with me, and you ain't got a bag. It ain't even a debate because I'm not even here today to talk about like the different animals that the dragon made up of. I'm here to more so say don't take it literally because this just represents your soul going to heaven. So if you want to say, well, I think it's a rabbit doing it, long as we know it means you and your soul going to heaven, then we good. That's the whole point. It ain't.
I would say that's expounding on the personification of the serpent rising to the spirit level, and mentioning creatures or animals.
I think when you say a dragon is a representation, that don't negate that the dragon is still that to represent you. That's what I'm saying.
I don't get what you're saying.
Okay,
hey, shout out to Sally too. She said, "You guys got a good bill going on here, bro. I wish I would have got on here when it started." Oh yeah, I'm sorry you missed it. You'll watch the replay. Shout out to Larry Love. He said they got the game, biz rituals, and parasites. Learn about parasites. You're all affected. Watch The Matrix. The reptilians have tech plus parasites. Tablets ain't new. Arizona had Buddha. Larry Love, I would like to talk to you one day. I appreciate the support and the input. Texas Real 00, my bad. Texas Real 007, I didn't see you. You said that's why Obama, Clinton, Epstein, Elon, they are all into the Phoenicians, Purple Lotus, Serpent. And New York City said mucho love from your brother from NYC, man. Good to see you, New York City. Can't wait to holler at you, man. Appreciate the love. And shout out to my brother, Charlie. Charlie Thomas, and to my other Charlie Garcia. Shout out to all the Charlies. And let me pass the mic. Go ahead. Sorry.
I would just say the personification of the 4 corners, the eagle, the serpent, the lion. I think there's something there that it kind of embodies the semblance between the animal nature and the higher self, and it's an ancient
you know more than what you saying, because that's what I was gonna hit. So you know more than what you saying. I'm telling you, because when you speak on the 4 corners, now you start to speak about the 4 kings, and then when you speak of the 4 corners, you start to speak about the equinox. All of this, the numbers 365 or 360, however or whatever. I ain't trying to be accurate.
It's called 369, man. You don't know that?
No, I'm talking about the days of the year, retard. But listen, this is what I'm saying. Because you got altars, 2 dragons. This is how when you look at these different,
you can't get past 4 corners is 490 degree angles. So that's 360. So why you say 365?
Right.
That don't even make sense. With that, bro. I just said I wasn't trying to be accurate with that, but you
gotta be accurate with it. You need to try, because you can't, why, if you can be accurate, be accurate. You don't gotta try. It's easy to be accurate. Yeah.
That ain't the point I'm trying.
Okay, go ahead.
Why you always do that, bro?
I don't
Listen,
get
bro.
it. Go ahead.
What
Go
you
ahead,
trying to
man.
prove? What you trying to prove? Go ahead.
I'm just trying to prove the evidence of a dragon. This the smoke we supposed to be having
You
tonight.
get
That's all I'm trying to
where's
do.
your evidence of a real little dragon? I'm waiting on it.
I can't do that. We already established that.
So
I'm
why
going
you
off.
not with it?
So
This
cool.
is what I'm saying though. I
Dragons
was
ain't
going
real,
off of
bro.
I was going off of factual things that's already in place here. That's the whole point I made at the
But
beginning.
listen, you can't use a bunch of facts to prove a belief. You get if those facts don't directly equate to evidence for your claim, then guess what? I want to see. I'm gonna let you go. What facts you got to prove it?
I'm just giving you the factuals that point in that direction.
What are they?
Oh, dude was talking about the what you was saying the four animals that the dragon was made up of.
But those ain't facts. Those are claims that a mythological creature is composed of these animals. That's like saying Sanchez, the Minotaur ain't half man and half horse. He half chicken too. And we can debate about what the Minotaur man is half, but he's still a mythological creature. And us debating about what animals he mixed with don't prove if he real or not. We can do that all day. It won't get down to whether he's real or not.
I understand that, but this is what I'm saying. So it's the 90 degrees of four corners. Is that accurate?
It's
That's
a fact.
accurate,
It's
right?
a fact that a circle can be split into four triangles, which would produce 490-degree angles equaling a 360. That's a fact. I had to
Right.
tell you that,
So-
brother.
right. But that's what I'm saying, because this is what the ancients dealt with. That's what I'm saying. So when the ancients give you these things, like how y'all can't make the connections for yourselves?
We
What that got to
making them
do with a
now,
dragon?
but
Ooh,
that's what I'm
boy.
saying. Because when you talk about making a connection, that requires decoding and deciphering, not taking this stuff literally like you would have to do to believe in dragons, which is why it's a
Well,
belief because it can't be proven. Yeah.
but
Excuse me,
so do
but
we all agree? Do we all agree that the ancients were way better off than us?
Let me ask you a question. Are you familiar with the fact that the serpent relates to the number 33? And when we deal with symbolism and breaking down what the serpent represented to the ancestors
Right.
on a
That number three,
numerical level, do you know that
number
the serpent is equivalent to the number 33, which is why Jesus died at the age 33 and his symbol is a
right.
serpent? Are you familiar
show
with
me
that?
the breakdown. Show me the break, because three my favorite number. So show me the breakdown of how the dragon represents 33. Show me that
Okay,
knowledge.
I got you. I got you. So
I
here,
got that. I got that real quick.
hey, look, hey Jedi, I'm gonna let you go ahead and give it, and I'll go after you then for sure.
You
I'm just
saying,
gonna.
hold on.
It's very simple actually. There's
Hold on, hold
33 vertebrae in the
hold
spinal
on.
cord, and
Because
when you
I know he
practice the
get.
right
Hold
type
up,
of
global. Let him go. I know he know the truth. Go ahead. You got it. Jedi got it.
it's very basic. There's just 33 vertebrae in the spinal cord. Practicing the right yoga will help you activate that kundalini, and that's why they were talking about 33 because you have to activate the whole spinal cord to open the third eye.
Right.
So,
Okay, so
so now a person that literally believe in the serpent, the flying serpent or the dragon, they will just disregard that the number equated to this thing is 33 because it was symbolizing the spinal cord, not the real serpent. His name Jedi. That's how come I knew he was gonna know it because this is the Jedi pillar.
okay,
Correct.
so this
Correct.
because you saying that because at the same time the spinal cord could represent the dragon. Now, what's the can we do an etymology on the word kundalini? Like where that come from?
I got you right. Have you ever heard of the word enkindle? Do you know what it means to enkindle something?
Sound like an inside flame.
Right. It's actually to
Right.
light it up or to ignite it, right? So listen,
Right.
when they talk about the kundalini rising up from the base of the spinal cord, if you ever light a firework stem and you see how the fire got to rise up to get into the thing for it to ignite and fire the fireworks off. So you can look at the spinal cord like a stem, a wick. And when the Kundalini rises, that's your flame that has been ignited. It's going to burn its way all the way up to the top of the head and blow up out of here. And then you're going to be free according to the ancestors. Is like,
It's very similar to what the like a power core like the Tartarians were using also. It's very similar to that, just more in an organic matter. The spine.
yeah,
Y'all explaining it to me.
so hold
You can
on.
harness all different types of
Global,
energy with it.
global, stay with me. I got you, global. So now that we know that this is like a stem and a wick and ignition process, right? Now the word Kundalini sounds like what? To enkindle something, to light it up, which is why we got the word candle, enkindle, candle. So the Kundalini is dealing with the flame within you, the wicking process, which is where we get the word to be wicked, like man is wicked, but it's literally talking
and that's where the term the enlighten of the pineal gland comes from. It's all the enlighten. The wick burning, the enlightened. That's how you get the knowledge.
Y'all explaining it. I wanted to do a word etymology on Kundalini.
That's what I just told you. Kundalini is the word candle, candle, and kindle.
Can we Wikipedia it? I want to Wikipedia it so we all can be on the same page.
No, we don't Wikipedia it. We etymology the word. But let me show you some about syncretism too. That you need to know. First of all, you don't Wikipedia a word to get the etymological origin of it. And second of all, you don't go to etymology when you're dealing with syncretistic linguistics. Now, let me show you something. Here is what syncretism is. It is the amalgamation or attempted amalgamation of different religious symbols. That's the symbolism. That would be like me showing you a collage with a bunch of different cultures, like this one, and blending it all together. That's a visual, like a visual form of syncretism. But here go to what I just did with the word kundal, kindi. That's number 2. That's the linguistic definition. It's the merging or different inflectional varieties of a word. Stop right there. The inflectional varieties of a word is what give me the ability to say kundal, candle, and kindle, and can't nobody say I'm reaching. What I'm doing, I'm practicing linguistic syncretism. I'm looking at how the words sound and see why they relate to that way, because words sound the same for a reason. They have inflectional relations, you know. So during so that there we go right there.
That's why I wanted the etymology, because I do the same thing with my words, just like you did. That's why I wanted to, but everybody can see, like, because this is the thing.
But that ain't etymology though. That's syncretistic linguistics. Etymology is when you want to see the original, when a word was first introduced into the lexicon. That's giving you the history of when the word entered the lexicon. That ain't necessarily what we just did. But yeah, go ahead.
I didn't say it was the same. I said I do synchronism too. I said, but I wanted etymology.
No, you don't. Stop it.
I got you. We can do it. Got you. Go.
All right. Because
see what just happened. Look, hold on. I gave it to. I'm showing you. We just went to etymology. We put the word kundalini in it, and the thing about etymology, some of the history was lost, so they don't have the original origin. Like sometimes they'll tell you, well, we don't know when kundalini or its original roots and all that. Sometimes they do know and just don't want to tell you. So don't think etymology is the end all be all, which is why I'm trying to tell you, get your syncretistic linguistics game up, bro. That's a skill you need.
Linguistics.
That's what I'm saying. Because this also, like I said, ain't nothing proving me wrong. Because when I told y'all how they do hold knowledge,
Who's talking about proving you wrong? What are you talking about?
Hold on, bro. So this ain't no results found, even though I know it's a real thing, even though no results found. So we all know. We know Kundalini ain't English. So what is Kundalini? What is its background?
You just broke it down to you a few minutes ago.
Why can't you give us the answers to your own question? Like, you asking all these questions, I feel like you should answer it.
Bro, because when I go out there, I get crucified. And so this way I
So
don't
so
get
listen,
crucified.
the Kundalini is basically. Let me ask you something so we can simplify this shit. Shout out to my nigga Reach Stacks, much respect and welcome back, bro.
You feel me? Gang,
Hell
gang, SMFP.
Hell yeah. I'm gonna
Hey,
ask this
Kundalini,
brother a simple
Sanchez,
global. I got you. Hold up. I'm gonna simplify this for you. Do you have a soul in your body that's gonna live on even when your body die? It's gonna rise up. It's gonna rise up even when your body drop down. The soul gonna rise up. Your soul gonna rise up. Ain't it global status?
you right. Damn sure right.
So the Kundalini can be looked at as just a Hindu word for soul. We ain't gonna complicate it.
I'm saying that what he's saying with the linguistic syncretism is it's the vibration. It's the expression of the vibration. He's not relying just on the etymological origin.
But this the thing though,
Because you can't.
we understand what vibration does, just like we understand about solid, liquids, and gas. So when we say that the spinal, the dragon just represent the spinal, the way I look at it, and this just my opinion. I look at it.
I'm glad that ends it right there. But go ahead.
I don't really care about your opinion.
Yeah, right. Opinions.
Because you ain't saying nothing deep. Like, I don't care about your opinion for real.
Listen, we all got opinions, bro.
I don't care about your
opinion.
Right now, I don't. I ain't gave one opinion yet. But go ahead.
Listen, this is what I was finna say. Because y'all saying the dragon represent the 33.
No, that ain't what we saying. The people who created the dragon, when they made it, this is what it meant. And now we're trying to tell the originators of it what we think about it, like what you just did. So what I'm telling you is that the Egyptians was teaching about the ascent of the consciousness. This is fact. This is the foundation of all world religion and even the concept of going to heaven.
They personified it as a dragon.
When I did
right,
exactly. They personified it.
Hey, you know what global status? You know what global status? Have you seen the movie The Last Dragon?
No.
Oh, you never heard that with Leroy and Shona?
I heard of Bruce Lee.
Well, I think that movie is showing what the dragon really is. It's just now in the movie.
I already done my research. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm listening to y'all perspectives.
Can I ask you a question? When the Pharaoh got the serpent on his head in Egypt, what that mean?
I think it has something to do with
no. I ain't asked you what you think. I'm saying, what does it mean? If we were in a history class at Duke University, you're the professor. The students want to know some real facts. That's what I'm saying. Do you know?
Listen, hold on, Sanchez. For one, when we dealing with this a lot of knowledge that I have to go back to, and I can mistaken it for all the knowledge that I came upon. That's why I come off as I think. Because
just say you don't know. It's cool.
That's all you gotta do. Because we all think every day. You got a brain, you think.
Right.
Just said.
But listen, man, we can't come at me like I'm perfect and like I can't mess up.
No. That ain't what we're doing.
You misinterpreting what we're trying to tell you.
I'm trying to listen, bro. All I'm doing is I'm answering the question as truthful as I can, and I have a lot of this knowledge packed in the back of my. I gotta work every day, bro. I don't just think about this in the front of my mind.
What do the serpent mean in this image?
It means that it supposed to be
you don't know it, bro. Just say you don't know it and ask them to teach you.
Hey, bro, why you keep talking when I talk, man?
Because you ain't answering the question.
If you let me,
you know,
but you gotta be quiet.
And I'm sure he'll teach you.
You gotta be quiet though.
You gotta count. You gotta answer.
Okay, let's let him go. Let's see if you know.
He keeps saying, I think,
me, man. You act like I birthed you.
You don't know.
Birth you, man. You your own person. I ain't birthed you. I'm not your daddy. Chill. All right. The last time I picked up on this was it supposed to represent how the way your spirit stands up right. Now teach me.
No, you got it. It's to just represent your spirit leaving the body. Like you said, when you die, your soul resurrect from the body. It's very simple. Like the whole foundation of world religion is based upon resurrection. And the first knowledge about resurrection was teaching every human the secrets of what happens to our soul upon death, that it lives on, basically, that there's a life after death. Science today, they denies life after death. They say we don't have proof of that, but the ancients actually said they had proof of it, and not only that, but that they communicated with the dead. So
Okay.
there we go.
So okay, so this is my perspective, right? And how I look how the ancestors teaching. So when we talk about that the dragon represents the spine, the 33, and how I look how the ancients were teaching that is actually in reverse, that your spine actually represents the dragon, as if
It's
the
the
dragon.
same thing, man. That's crazy.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing.
No, it's not.
Oh,
it is.
that's stupid.
No, it's the same
Now
thing.
listen, bro, I'm gonna tell you right now. I gotta tell you right now, and I ain't even trying to be funny. Bro, sometimes you just ought to fall back and take a deep breath and let someone else breathe. Because I ain't gonna lie, bro. That's cringe what just happened, bro. That's cringe, bro. Damn.
So what I just said, what I just
That's
explained.
cringe, bro. I ain't gonna lie, dog. Damn.
I got a question for you, bro. I'm
Show
sorry
me
to switch.
the difference what I just explained.
No, it's the same thing, Global. But let me ask bro a question quick, and we can get back to
Brother
it.
said it's actually not a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. It's a jelly and peanut butter sandwich.
Right.
Something of that nature. Yes, I did. That's what I'm saying, though.
Like, that's crazy, man.
Hold on. Because when you dealing with knowledge, some of the simple things can change your whole perspective. Like, don't act like I ain't making a point.
Yo, you gotta post this, bro.
You're not, bro. You're not, bro. You're not.
Ancient knowledge work. That's if y'all ancient knowledge, y'all will understand that ancient knowledge works like this.
So look, I'm gonna show you this then. If 2 + 2 is 4, reverse 2 + 2 around. It's actually not 2 + 2, it's 2 + 2. See, you can do that with 5 + 4, because you can say, well, it's 4 + 5. But if I hit you with, okay, reverse 3 + 3.
You laughing.
No, bro. That's
Hey, bro, can I share a story?
I'm just joking on you, though.
The ancient talk is, though. You ain't laughing at me. This how the ancient knowledge is broke down. Because they be
okay, bro.
very
Right.
Global, you're getting too emotional.
Right, he getting hella too emotional. Yeah.
They be
This be my problem with people.
He
They
trying
want
to
to be the
put this
chosen
on the
ones,
ancients, man. Like that.
Well, that's how the knowledge is.
He got
That's
to
how
put
good
it on
Global
the ancients.
This ain't got nothing to do with me.
The
This is how
gerbil,
chosen
listen,
one.
the gerbil coming out of you now. Let the gerbil, has awakened.
Yeah.
Gerbil inside your spinal cord. That bitch got a gerbil. That bitch got a gerbil on the spinal cord.
It's not personal, bro.
I know it's not personal at all. It's not personal at all, Global
You
Status.
getting emotional.
And I just got I got a question for Bro Sanchez, right? Because I wanna ask him because of his thumbnail, right? That thumbnail, right? Right, that thumbnail. Okay, now I don't know what you said about your thumbnail, but that location of where that picture is, or that rock formation, that's in Utah.
Yeah, I'm about to pull it up.
And they call this area Goblin Valley.
Yeah.
And you know, with my revolutionary mind and code, right? So when they called it Goblin, I automatically thought opposite. Okay, this is a very sacred, holy site. Because of these rock formations, there are so many of them that don't make sense. And they're trying to say that it was water formation that did this. That's a lie. With a lot of those monuments or structures in Goblin Valley in Utah, it's so obvious that someone sculptured this or made this. I mean, it's insane of how, and if anyone's thinking like that's a giant petrified Willy Wonka or something, that's just pathetic.
These are people that's playing a game. You can carve like this right here is carved. Look.
Has anybody had a penis envy? I apologize. I didn't mean to interrupt, brother. I just wanted to say a penis envy is a mushroom that, I mean, its cap is almost perfectly symmetrical with a circumcised penis. I don't know, just throwing that out there.
So you saying
Well, I'm
that's a
not
petrified
suggesting these are
mushroom?
penises, but there's
Are you
already
saying that's a
life form
petrified
on this
mushroom?
planet that resemble a penis, which is a mushroom.
Is this a petrified mushroom?
Well, I think there's a lot of evidence to suggest that there's petrified mushrooms
He said
about
I'm
this
never eating
realm.
no mushroom.
Now, in specifics, I'm not sure which one we're referring to because they've seen the webbing, the umbrella sort of effect underneath the mushroom tip. That
That's your
is
question.
iconic in a mushroom. They've shown that in research. And again, I apologize, Bro Sanchez. I've never come onto a panel in my life. I've never talked to a YouTube channel or even
you good.
And
I just got a quick question for you though. Can you explain the process of how a mushroom petrifies and becomes solid?
That would go back to that reference that I had. Again, I don't have
my bad.
Again, it's 7 years old, you know, when I heard about it, but there's an ancient cave that people it's a tourist attraction where they'll go there for this purpose, and they'll hang like stuffed teddy bears and different organic material on this cave where a mass amount of water runoff is consistent. And essentially what my understanding is that the high mineralization of the water coming off the ridges there, we're getting to it, petrifies these organic material objects within what I would consider less than a decade, where we're taught, at least the only teaching that I've ever received of it was the Petrified National Forest. Now we're hours past me suggesting that prior, that it takes millions of years to turn organic material into stone. These used to be soft and fluffy. And, you know, so that, again, it's been years since I've introduced to this information.
Is it turning them into like, it's like
Full,
this, right?
Hold
on. Because this is what I see, real talk, right? If you chocolate coat a turtle, you didn't turn the turtle into chocolate. You chocolate coated the turtle. So what I'm saying is, I would say if I was to shave away this stone, I probably would see some of the fibers from that old teddy bear somewhere still back there if it ain't fully decomposed yet, because it's organic, right? It's not. It's not that the teddy bear, the organic material, is solidifying. It's that the soft teddy bear is acting like a mold for sort of a liquid stone sludge that were hardened over that like a mold, like chocolate coating something. But it ain't turning the teddy bear into stone.
Let's be devil's advocate and suggest that you can tell that bear isn't molded over like it's melting. And then again, this is very anecdotal, but let's just suggest you cut that teddy bear open and 30% of it's stone, but it carries the same form and format that the original organic material had.
Gotcha.
Let's accelerate that another 10 years. Is that 60% of it being stone? I'm not saying that I understand all this. I'm just suggesting that this completely puts ahead like a linchpin in the whole theory that it takes millions of years. That's an absolute crazy
and see
extrapolation.
But see, here go the thing. This is your idea of how these giants or dragons could have become stone.
Hey, you put words in my mouth, brother.
Hold on. So why are we even looking at this then? Why?
I'm saying I never said that I believe that mountains are giants or that.
Okay. So you're saying that. My thing is this. I'm here today to have a discussion on any kind of organic creature, any kind of petrified being that we're saying was once organic and now it has transformed into stone. I'm here to question that. And even yours, I'm saying it ain't really us turning something organic into stone. It's more of a layering and coating process, because if I'm not mistaken, isn't it the effect coming from the cave?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's the high mineralization of the water. And if I can, please, all I was suggesting, this is the closest connection that I've ever found between this and my ability to extrapolate to some of these profound theories you could suggest that our community is starting to gravitate towards, because our minds are so open to the point to now we can accept the reality, in my opinion, that organic biological organisms were so far more extravagant, massive, and diverse.
I don't think that that's what we're doing though when we do this. I think that because this what I'm saying. The people that are leading the forefront of this fossilization movement, they are using the same fossils that the imposters gave us to prove dinosaurs. That's what I'm telling you.
Oh yeah, well they're retarded. And then the only thing else I'll share, and then I'll fall back. I mentioned that I went under the streets of Marietta, Ohio, which is the first settlement of Ohio, and I found 2 pieces of electrical machinery. Misspoke and drank some wine tonight. Apologies. And I found 2 pieces. It seems like no one's ever tried to walk these tunnels that are 20 feet below grade. With massive, 2 by 2 by 8 foot stone blocks, perfect masonry, perfect arches. Seems like the walls go far further down than the ground level. Doesn't matter. 20 feet below grade, where I lived my entire life. Never knew this was down there. Discovered it in my early 30s. I found this electrical equipment with wires, with the you would say rubber or plastic synthetic material still wrapped around the copper or whatever metals that was used in the wiring. Many wires, very evident that there were circuit boards, etc. The whole thing is covered in stone. No magnet touches it. It's completely, it's like a petrified electrical device that I found in these tunnels underneath where I grew up. And the only reason I was able to identify it, in my opinion, is because of that cave. And that, I traveled the country, I saw the petrified wood and the stories that were told about what petrification is, et cetera. And then later in my research, I had to let go of that, what you would call knowledge. And, knowledge is so,
I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to show you why. I'm going to show you why we think knowledge is flimsy, because of what you said earlier. You said our minds are so open, and guess what? That's a bad thing if you don't have a filter of critical thinking, because your mind can be so open you can fall for anything. That can actually be a gift and a curse. So an open mind without a barrier of critical thinking will say stuff like, that rock right there? That's a big giant cock.
Mm-hmm.
Have you heard me say anything?
No, I wasn't saying you. I'm just speaking in general. This ain't to you.
No, I hear you, brother, and I appreciate it. And what I'll say is that I've come to a place after all my years of research that I do follow my heart. My discernment is within. I don't say I know anything. I don't think I ever try to say that. But I do try
keep
to
it real,
up.
Quentin. I keep it real with you, all the way funky with you. Just looking at that teddy bear, like let's just assume
just
assume for a minute, right? That the teddy bear, I don't care how long that teddy bear stays in a cave on the ground, laying against the rock, it shouldn't get petrified at all. It should just still.
I know, but
watch this though. No.
Is that our reaction to it? Is that our programmed reaction to it?
Here's what's going on, because I think it's being dishonest what's going on right now. Here's a good example of how this pot is becoming stone. If you look at it, there are drippings. See, the rock above this is like a clay coating. If you coat your hold on a second, bro. Let me cook, and you can correct me if I'm wrong afterwards. Because what we're looking at, it's the real pot seeing through the little mud that's coated right here. If you leave this here long enough, what I think we're looking at is just a simple coating process. This mud is a form of clay, a hard type clay that's gonna harden over time to where you ain't even gonna see the original pot no more. It's gonna solidify and just be stone. I'm saying this looks like a coding process to me. I'm not a fool, but I'm willing to hear you out. I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's it being calcified.
Can I say something? All I wanted to say in this regard is I'm not saying you're being disingenuous. These pictures are very anecdotal, and it doesn't really grasp the scope of what I originally learned about this. But all I'll suggest is that one major difference is you're talking about a ceramic and a cotton, based, toy. The difference between its ability to absorb the mineralization and turn to stone from clay, and then fabric, it's a massive difference in terms of timeline. So obviously the teddy bears and the toys of fabric, nature, those are the ones that are turning fastest. And what I'm suggesting is that what they're finding is that the items are completely calcifying or mineralizing or petrifying into a form that would be reminiscent of the Petrified National Forest, or these trees that turn to glass. But we're told millions of years on the trees, and we're not really actually allowing this new experience to enter the data field, you could say, and transform our perspective or understanding into what it takes to mineralize something to the point of what we would consider stone or rock. That's all. Thank you.
Can I say something? Jump in really quick, Sanchez?
Yeah, go ahead. My bad.
Yo, salute to Sanchez, the panel.
Salute, Sid. Go ahead.
Yeah, just to add some clarity, I think this is a bad example of petrification. This is just like calcifying, like you're saying. It's a coating of it. Like the best example of the petrification is really the Petrified National Forest. And there was a piece of it. I forget where I was, but I got a picture of it on my phone. There was a piece of a trunk at this other spot, this other national forest, and they had it cut in half, and they had the inside of it all polished, and it was a beautiful gemstone. Like this, it was complete. It was petrified all the way through. You know what I mean? There ain't nothing in the middle. Like It was like a gemstone now, but you could tell it was a tree trunk.
And Chronic, the only thing I'll say is that
can someone read this for me? I can't. My eyes bad right now. Can you read that?
Oh, come on, bro. You're fucking with me.
No,
the
go
first
ahead.
national park I ever went to was the Petrified National Forest. So my research began with the overall narrative and the controlled theories. And yes, obviously, ChatGPT is fucking feeding you exactly.
Oh, hell
no! I'm not
Come
saying
on
you're
now.
wrong. I'm not saying you're wrong, brother, but
look, ChatGPT, listen.
Don't discredit me.
But listen,
I'll tell you what.
Check this out though. Compelling. Listen, I'm not tripping. I'm just saying I want to see the receipts. I'm not saying enough. And what ChatGPT doing is give me an example of someone that recreated what happened in the well to prove that it's a layering and encoding process.
The last thing I'll say is let's just talk about the difference in extrapolation between what we're witnessing here, which is a matter of a decade, and their claims of 1 million years. The orders of magnitude difference between what we're told it takes and what it could take is the only thing I'm suggesting. And I'm not suggesting that Marietta is Ohio is millions of years old, but thousands of years easily. And I think I've found evidence that this mineralization can happen in my own town, in our own history. That's not buried. And this kind of led me to open my mind to that potential. And and again, like you said, if your mind's too open, you'll fall for anything. You really got to think about this. Professional skeptic is everything.
They said that they can't call this a fossil. They taking a fossil process that scientists came up with, and they're adding the word mud in front of it because it needs water and like y'all said, I forgot how to pronounce the shit, calcification or whatever. But the whole thing is, man, we can't like. I think ChatGPT is right here, man. Like it's not, and I don't understand. Yeah. Go ahead.
I was about to interject and say that that you're just taking another form of letting Google say, no, you're wrong.
No. This is what I'm doing right here, right? I'm looking. This is what I'm doing, right? I'm looking at a teddy bear right now.
No, I know that.
Hold on. I'm looking at a teddy bear right now. The teddy bear is coated in the exact same shit that's dripping from the cave. And we can still see that if I touch this, it ain't fully hardened yet, so it's still a little furry. It is being coated. It ain't that the fur is transforming into stone, it's that it's being coated and sludged over, and that this is what's gonna harden. So it ain't that I'm Googling nothing. I'm using critical thinking. My eyes see something. Like, I ain't no fool. I know what the hell I'm looking at. I made the claim before I ChatGPT'd it. I ChatGPT'd it after the fact just to see if ChatGPT agree with me. Not that it's telling me what to think.
Ew, damn.
So what if the people who are responsible for the reset petrified all this stuff so we can see what's going on? Because if you reset a land, it's gonna have dead stuff. So you gotta kind of petrify the dead stuff so it wouldn't be stinking. So maybe the people who are responsible for the reset had the technology to petrify these things, because
you know what though, but why listen, why go around spraying shit with goo, turning it into statues that's sitting there in the way versus just cremated? We got cremation places everywhere. It's easy to just create a enclosed little incinerator, set it on fire. That's been the easiest way for years. That's the oldest. Now we going through a whole chemical process. We gotta make the sludge, make the equipment to spray the shit, go around spraying this shit, waiting on it to get hard, and now it's just sitting in the way. We gotta walk around it. Like, think about that.
We do, but the ancestors never did. Remember them, the technology. So them probably was way more advanced of doing it faster than us.
I think that's stupid. That ain't advanced. That's ignorant. If someone had that idea, I would say that ain't an advanced society. That's an idiot. My personal opinion.
And then, bro, I wasn't saying you were being lazy.
Hold on, one second. Do you ever see the Himalaya mountains? The salt that coming out from there?
I was about to say that's just like ice dripping on water. What
they call it, the Himalayan salt. They're like pink.
But
pink
what this got to do with us going around spraying dead bodies with cave water to make them hard?
No. That's a different type of. Well, as you say, you're right on that. That's like a coding. That's different from the petrified stuff. That's totally different, right? What's going on there? The petrified stuff that looked like technology to me. And they petrified everything, so we can see about this stuff.
So you telling me you telling me that the ancients said, look at that giant vagina right there, spread with that cave water so we can preserve this big coochie.
Because think about it, when the dome came down, a lot of stuff probably get trapped. I mean when the dome came down, when the dome appeared, maybe it had stuff trapped in here, giants. Because if you see how they die. They like their mouth is open, like they're gasping for breath. They're trying to catch their last breath. Just imagine if I lock you somewhere and you're losing air. It's just like these big titans. There was like, I guess the dome came over.
And what I'm saying, I'm totally familiar with the theory that you're giving, but what I'm saying, it ain't no facts for it. It's no different than eBay Cheetos. It's like this right here. We can look at this right here and say, man, that's a frozen giant. Or watch this right here, right? Just hear me out for a minute. Or what if what we're looking at is ancient sculpture? Because guess what we're finding, right? We're finding that ancient people had civilizations that's been buried underground with the mud flood, and we digging them up. We're digging up Victorian statues. We're digging up statues the size of Rushmore. Olmec heads under the ground. Now, what if we dig up a big ass Olmec head and somebody say this is proof of giants? Think about this. What if 200 years from now, watch this. What if 200 years from now, someone look at Mount Rushmore and say, you know what? Those are giants frozen in time. That's what we're doing when we look at this. How do we know this ain't an ancient Mount Rushmore? This ain't an ancient sculptor that we just found the remnants of an old civilization that was sophisticated, that had intricate carving techniques, and they saying, oh, they rather you think it's a frozen giant than the fact this is part proof of that Tartaria is bigger than we think, and that we can find ancient artwork in the jungle resurfacing because of the mud flood.
And you know what, bro? Look, because I'm, you know, speaking to a lot of people on TikTok, they can't even fathom that ancient cultures had this ability to sculpture like this.
Right.
Like they don't even. It's hard for people of our era to look at back in the days and look at them as really sophisticated and high with tech. Like a lot of people don't view that. It's almost having like an ego or arrogance that we have, like we're the best and we have achieved and we are the only ones that went to so-called space. Do you know? It's very, to me, sometimes speaking to people, it's arrogant, you know, to say that we are the best and totally disregard all of the accolades, all of the achievements, every height that ancient cultures have achieved back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
I think you can tell just by looking at this image that the materials that they chose, it's either recent or ignorant. I mean, the older stuff that you look at, it's cut out of stone that's almost impossible to work with today. You know, so
what are you saying? Like in the case of this image?
Yeah, this image here, this looks like shit concrete. You know, I mean,
but think about this right here, right? Here's my thing. We're talking about if this is hundreds of years old, I think you owe the ancestors an apology because we don't got concrete sculptures that can last hundreds of years old and maintain the level of detail that we see in this man's beard right here. So think about this, right? You're even admitting that this thing survived a mud flood and a worldwide reset, and now you shitting on it. Apologize right now. Apologize right now, bro. Apologize right now, bro. No. That's stupid. Yeah.
There's a documentary called Magical Egypt by John Anthony West, and even just the first season, all the statues are made out of like stone that is almost impossible to cut. I'm not saying that this isn't
not
AI.
Everyone made statues out of the same stone all around the world. For example, right, if I'm carving think about this, right? If I'm carving my art directly into a mountain, guess what my limitation is? I don't have the luxury to decide what kind of stone I want to use. Because if I say, look, I'm going to turn Mount Rushmore to my face and I want to make it diamond, too bad, Mount Rushmore already whatever rock it is. You choosing your rock when you choose this mountain. So the fact that our ancestors was turning big ass mountain, and you had to get these Olmec heads, to get some of this stuff, you had to turn a huge fucking mountain or a giant rock and carve it out. So listen, so what I'm saying is, it's just the fact that it wasn't really about the material, just like in the case of Mount Rushmore. It's more about we turning this mountain, this natural feature, into a sculpture.
And I'm not trying to be combative, but this is the similarity.
No, be combative. Be combative. Go ahead.
But no, what I just wanted to share is that this is the same level of craftsmanship as that supposed giant, you know, calcified or however they want to frame it. This is all layered on top of the rock. Originally, there was a crazy horse statue supposedly at this location. All that stuff is plaster peril. I mean, that's not carved out of the mountain. That's placed just as a bad example. And
you know, there's a difference. That picture that Sanchez showing here at the mountain is a difference between carved out, like for instance the stone, what do you call it, the Olmec stone head, guys. That's not petrified giants. That's clearly carved out stone. Is a difference. Because if I break this guy's head
You
right now, I'm
can't
gonna
say
see him
that
think,
because you telling me
yeah,
that
man.
this is a petrified
No,
giant or
that's not a
statue.
petrified.
Okay,
That's
go
carved
ahead.
stone. I'm watching it right now. The ones that is like laid down like mountains and shit like that is not petrified giants. Some is giant trees, giant fruits, other animals. Trust me, man. You know what I mean?
What's this one right here, man? no,
Let me
no
see.
homo.
Can I say
Well,
one thing?
That is just like a normal accident or so. I don't know. That's that.
Well, yeah.
That is like when you want to see something, they want to see a body. They want to see that. That's why they're saying that's what it is.
Yeah,
But that's
you
not.
know,
That's what that
because
does.
that's the one, like, that was the one that had me tripping because, dude, I saw that documentary. I saw the thumbnail, Mudfossil University. I said, ain't no way he's teaching that these things are, no, man. And he was,
Some of
bro.
the stuff is what the eyes just want to see, and you're gonna say it look like
God
a
damn.
human body, so you're gonna say that. But some of the stuff is dancing.
Can I ask you a question, Sterling? If one of these mountains or whatever it is, right, where a dragon, let's say, is petrified. So if we dig inside, shouldn't we find some type of remains or something inside if someone digged inside it?
We should find
Yeah,
some
but
remains. Yeah.
Sanchez need to pull up that same image of the Himalayan salt. Like certain areas, the petrified was done good, but other areas it probably wasn't done that great. You know what I mean? I don't know. There's just my theory, man. That's it, man. I don't know. But I believe the petrified trees, the petrified giants, and all them sort of things because you had to get. Because if I'm thinking if the dome came here and it had giants before, and they was trying to do a reset, ain't no way you're gonna leave all them big, huge dead animals there.
What dome you
Obviously,
keep talking about came
Hey,
here?
my whole thing is right here. I don't care if a person believe in giants. I can't prove them or disprove them. I think giants were real, but I'm saying reaching and try to prove them with like statues and like when you try to prove giants with stuff like this, then I'm telling you, you're doing the opposite. People ain't gonna take you serious with giants. If you want to prove giants, this how I would do it. Watch this. Watch this. I'm gonna show you something. Watch this. This how you prove giants. We got listen, we got real photos that they erased from history of giants. Now listen, these are real photos. Now watch this, right? Why do we gotta look at all of these images of like stone? Why do we need to do the mud fossil thing when we can just show them a picture of a giant? To me, that's an agenda to undermine giants. To me, that's to discredit the giant movement. It ain't no big, you don't really got to do a lot to prove giants today. If we're waking up, we got proof of it. The truth is out. Just show them a picture of it. Say, look, here you go right here.
And I'll just share one thing before I fall back for good. The cave that I recommended looking into was Mother Shipton's cave. I figured that might spike some interest in your head. That I know you've maybe heard that name, but her prophecies, etc. And then the idea that cave, or right there adjacent to it, is, according to what I've read, that within months these organic materials turn to stone, through this mineralization deposits.
Where is that cave at, Quentin?
And I'll say two things, and I'll shut up. I promise.
No.
Carbonate, silica, iron, and it within months. So how far would you have to cut into this organic material before it started to change your mind that if you waited 100 years or millennia of it turning to complete stone? And it just kind of goes back to the idea of how vast and eternal you truly are, of how much of a life.
But see, that's my thing. But see, we can prove all that without having a theory of fossilization in any form.
but do we have much to fall back to? So all I was trying to do is try to give like maybe like this example of something that's happening in our experience that we can look at and observe and document and say that if you extrapolate, and I was being very conservative and saying a decade. They're saying that it's happening within months. As I took a step back and went and refined my sorry.
Hey Quentin, where was that? What was the name of that?
You know what's going on.
Is?
You know what's going on right now. Okay, yeah, he asked you a question about the cave, the petrification well, something like that.
And it was so cool that I went and looked for it, and then the name of the cave, Mother Shipton, and that just is a whole nother rabbit hole. Mother Shipton is a whole nother. It's like Nostradamus, but on steroids. And there's a lot of woo woo and rabbit holes that you can go down with that. I could not recall that it had any reference to Mother Shipton, but that's just a whole nother, divergent, anyways.
Let me hop in and offer another little piece that might help out too, because there's evidence of a clam or an oyster, and it was found completely petrified, closed, which means in clams, when they die, the muscles relax and they release. And the fact that this petrified clam or oyster was found 3D and completely.
Let me make sure I'm pulling up your image. Would this be it right here? I got you. Go ahead.
I'm not sure that might be it. I'm not sure exactly. I would have to go look at the source material again, but to really pull out the exact example. But there's probably multiple examples of these clamshells petrified in 3D.
Okay, yeah, and I got a picture of some now. Go ahead.
Yeah, and so the muscles relax when they die. So finding this means that they petrified, and it happened in an instant. It flash froze, flash petrified. You know what I mean?
Now, guess what? Let me holler at him. Let me holler at you. Don't do the simulation. Let me holler at you. Now, I'm gonna show you something that's kind of gonna lean to y'all favor just for a second, but let me make a point. This is a petrified fish, and what makes me say that this is a petrified fish is because guess what? You can even see the little mouth right there and all that, and the fin up there at the top, right? I'm trying to give y'all I'm trying to be in agreement with y'all.
Possibly, I'm not sure. I can't say for sure on that one, but it do look like a fish.
No. That is just what the eyes want to see. These things you gotta be careful of.
Okay, so watch this, right? I think what y'all doing now is being dishonest, because here's the thing, right? This is my point. In paleontology, some of the fossils were fakes, some of them was real. And when the water get muddy like that, I'm just ain't drinking from it at all. And y'all are saying, no, don't scoop right there. Scoop from this end of the muddy ass water. It's muddy everywhere now. So that's what I'm saying. Because now when we start picking and choosing which one of the fossils we will accept as truth from these liars, it's like trying to pick the best shit turd out the toilet. You will never find the best shit turd.
Well, Sanchez, that's the tactic they use when they're trying to hide the truth, man. They're trying to hide the truth, but the truth is there, man. They're going to put that, just like what they do with the flat earth. They bring out a bunch of different flat earth maps to confuse the stuff. But that's the same exact tactic that was going on here. They're trying to confuse. So they're going to put fake stuff.
Let me tell you, once the waters has been muddied, that's when you start saying, okay, I'm not drinking from that well anymore. I'm gonna dig my own well, and now I gotta work hard. Now they making me have to work hard. Now I got to use critical thinking, start from the beginning, from scratch, and come up with my own facts about reality. We don't do that. We say we know they lying to us, but let me pick which one of the lies may be true.
This is a fish, bro?
I'm not doing that.
But that's what I'm saying. People will show you a fossil, right, from these people and say, well, yeah, now that's a real one. Then when I show one from them, they'll say, well, no, that ain't a real one right there, Sanchez.
Not me.
I say once we start taking these people's stuff as evidence, we got to take it all.
Looking at this to me is like looking at the difference between a real person and an AI. I could clearly see this is a difference. This is, I mean, I'm not saying this is AI, but
now watch this, right? My whole thing is this. Is these rocks right here petrified clams on the right? See how long it's taking him? Y'all see how long it's taking him, right? Because he see what I'm doing here. He just said that there are giant clams that's petrified. Now that's like me walking in the jungle or in the woods. I see some rocks that shape like a clam, and I say, well, that's a clam frozen as a rock. How come things in nature just can't? That's like people look up in the sky at clouds and they see faces in the clouds. They see animal shapes in the clouds. You can do that in rocks too. But see, that's all we're doing with this clam claim that you just made. And you telling me I can't do what you just did with my little old fish here. Where my fish at? We doing the same thing. We just looking at the shape of it, right?
Nah, I mean, I think certain things can be verified and certain things are obvious hoaxes.
Okay, how do we verify this? I want to ask you the question.
When the waters are muddied,
No,
I feel that though.
I don't want to talk about the muddy waters no more. I brought that up. I made my point with that. The point, and y'all ain't getting the point, is what I'm saying. I can look at these rocks right here and see a turtle shell, and we can debate, and we can say, well, no, it's a petrified turtle. No, it's a petrified clam. Because why we can debate this? Because ain't nobody broke the rock open and did no forensics. We just looking at a damn shape.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. The account that I'm referring to, it's definitely been researched, looked at.
Have it been researched by you, though?
Listen, I have a question for Sanchez. I have a question.
If you didn't verify the research, you believe in it. And I'm going to show you why it's dishonest. Because you're talking about they did the research to prove it, but they did the research to prove my little old fish here that you don't want to accept. You want to cherry pick their research. That's my point. Don't talk to me. Listen, don't talk to me about research if you ain't going to take it all. Because guess what? I didn't see your clams till you showed it to me. That's the point of research. We share research with each other. You shared research with me about clams. I came back and said, okay, here goes some more of their research about a petrified fish. You chose their research about the clam, but you won't choose their research about the fish. Ain't none of it your research.
To be fair, I didn't see any research on this fish, and you didn't see the research that I'm referring to on the clam, to be fair, but it's all good, you know? Yeah, I hear you. I mean,
so guess what? Here's the thing. Hold on. You didn't see the research on the clam. You wasn't there when they did in the lab. You wasn't in the lab. You just went online and you saw it like I'm showing now. I'm doing just what you did. You went and Googled it. You didn't go to the lab with them. So what's the problem?
No, it was in an old book, for real. It wasn't even on Google.
Okay, but we don't got to have the book. We can Google the book and pull up the images from it, right? Well, that's the beauty of Google. That's why we bought the internet. Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty censored, but yeah.
I don't believe you. Any kind of fossilization is common knowledge. Ain't nobody hiding fossilization. These people coming out talking about they finding giants and all that. They the ones coming out. So listen. You act like they're trying to hide dragons when they're saying dragons are dinosaurs. They're not trying to hide giants because they've been telling us about them since David and Goliath. Y'all lying for real.
I ain't saying nothing about dragons or giants, but the Smithsonian definitely comes in and intercepts fossils and artifacts and stuff for sure.
Well, the thing is this right here. The point is the process of fossilization can be debunked. And y'all are trying to accept certain fossils and reject others by saying, no, that's phony. When I tell you that the whole process is phony, why do you pick and choose any of it? That was my point. That's why I put the fish up, because I knew you wasn't going to probably choose this. and it would prove my point that y'all are picking and choosing, and at that point you lose. You lose when you do that.
But just because the process of which the fossils happened is wrong, which I agree with, that what they tell us how fossils happened is completely wrong. But just because that's wrong doesn't mean we're not actually finding fossils. Though. Is that what you're saying?
Okay, so that's like saying just because I can debunk space, I can debunk the process of how they said we went to the moon, how we went to space, based upon ain't no thrust in a vacuum. That don't mean we didn't actually go to space. That's what you saying. Because listen. Don't cut me off. Listen, and you will see what it got to do with space. Once I debunk the process that creates a fossil, what the hell are you finding? That part.
Yeah, I feel you. You debunk space, but you're still finding stars.
Bro. I think that just went over his head. Did anyone else on the panel get what I just said?
Yeah, I don't even know
Yeah.
I can
I got you.
Yeah, I got it.
Listen,
I got what you said, bro.
listen, Sanchez, hold on. I got.
Like,
hold
once
on,
I
hold on.
tell you that the process
been-
of fossilization isn't real, you can't find a fossil. What we're finding are rocks that just shape like objects naturally. And where our mind is making us see it as a little fish. I see the mouth and everything. But guess what's weird about nature? This happens all the time. I remember when I was a little boy, I would see crazy shapes in the clouds too. I still see them today. Sharks and shit in the clouds. Faces of the devil and shit in the clouds. I'm the only one to see these shits in the clouds? Yeah.
No, see faces, all type of stuff in the clouds.
If the giant stuff didn't get petrified, where they went? Where only giant trees and things? Where the stuff went?
Guess what, bro? Let me tell you something. Have you ever heard of ashes and ashes to dust to dust? Don't you know what happens when a tree dies? It breaks down. Right? If the giants and the trees died because of a cataclysm, if there were many trees uprooted, like if you look at a cataclysm right now, watch this. Watch this. Trees uprooted from explosions. Over time, if there was a reset on Earth, once you uproot the tree because the soil was flipped upside down because of the mud flood, right? We say that a mud flood happened. That mean all the old trees was uprooted that was on the original ground level, and that we building on top of a upper level of dirt that ain't the real soil, and that explain why shit can't grow as big as what it used to grow, because the roots ain't really connecting to the true ground. We building on top of a building top roof. We on like the 10th floor. Real talk. So that's what the mud flood did. We ain't even plant seeds on the original ground level. And that's why we don't get the same amount of yield that the ancestors got in the old world. Shit ain't as bigger. Now, guess what? That's just a theory, too. But at the same time, what I'm telling you, you asked the question, what happened to the old trees? What happened to the old giants? Bro, shit decompose. It don't matter just because it's a giant. It still got to decompose. He's still an organic big old creature. Even
That's what I was thinking the whole time.
Yeah.
Even it's got to go to dust.
Right.
Facts. And salute, bro. Salute to the panel.
Unless it's extreme heat or extreme cold, it's got to go to dust, and then eventually that will go to dust.
What I'm saying is, this is just my theory, right? I'm thinking when that disaster happened, that's when like I don't know, you guys say a force field, a dome, some heat or something. Maybe at the time when that was happening, that is when the disasters and thing was happening. So these things get trapped in here.
But look though, and salutes to everybody. This was my question, man. So if they can dig so many hundreds of feet and do all this excavate and all that type of stuff, and as soon as they find like an ancient tomb or something like that, they going in there, they doing DNA testing. So if there's petrified dinosaurs and petrified giants, why won't they just try to crack through the outer layers so they can do what they do when they find everything else and do some type of DNA test?
Let's open this shit up and see what's on the inside.
Right.
Yeah, that's
That's
what I was
common
saying.
sense, man.
Like, cause that's what I was saying about the layering process, the coating process. If we crack that thing open, we can find some of the, and that's why they don't want to open these up to see if they clams or not. Let's break one open.
Supposedly, there's a lot of research that suggests that we experienced a flash freeze, like the mammoths with erect penises that suffocated, instantly.
See
Frozen.
that see that
Damn,
erect
man, that's
penis.
funny, bro.
Look, hold on. I gotta speak on that too. 'Cause
Damn,
look,
bro.
why would it just be a whole bunch of penises lined up next to each other? Listen,
and they
all the
hard, they on
giants,
hard,
they
yeah.
hard too.
I'll
So
tell you
was
what,
the
I wasn't
giants
trying to defend the penis,
was
but
the giants all laying next to each other with hard penises and they got the shit pulled on them, man? What we doing, man? Like, come on, man. This shit crazy.
Hey,
Hey, where the rest of the body at? That's what I want to know. Where the rest
Yeah,
of the
man.
hey,
They was
that's
all
crazy.
laying down. They was making pudding pops or ice cream sipples
Oh,
out of
man.
That shit
penises
was
and shit.
detachable back then.
Come on, man.
Hey, Sanchez, really quick. I'm late to the build, so I wasn't here for the beginning of it. Are you saying there's no petrified, like real petrified examples? Is that what
No,
you're saying?
what I'm saying is,
Okay.
I think that we're being dishonest when we try to prove our beliefs with fossilization while saying we don't agree that dinosaurs exist because they lying about the fossilization process when they invented it. You're just tweaking their shit. That's fucked up. That's like me being a shoe company and I copy off Nike then tell Nike they got some shit wrong about the shoe. They invented the shit. Now look, here go to a petrified dinosaur. They use this as proof of dinosaurs. You tell them they can't do that, but you can do it though. That's what I'm saying about, that's what I was saying. We're being dishonest. If we're gonna say that there are petrified dragons, then we can't now say that dinosaurs are fake and we can't go against them on that. We shooting ourselves in the foot.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Cause cause the petrified forest, the national forest, so you would agree that that's like those are real petrified trees, right? Or not?
See, what I'm doing is very simple so that we don't try to muddy the waters like these charlatans try to do, not saying you won. There's a claim I'm specifically addressing. The fact that we can prove giants with stuff like this right here. That we can prove dragons with stuff. See, my whole thing is dealing with, if you want to believe in dragons and giants, cool, but you can't use the fossilization process to prove that. I ain't
Real
saying
talk,
you
real talk.
listen. I'm not saying you can't use that to prove petrified trees and all that other stuff. I don't want to muddy the waters like that. I'm making a specific claim.
Thank you for clarifying. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, that's what okay, for sure.
Yeah, because we gotta clarify that. We gotta clarify the petrified trees. Now, when we get to talking about giants, dragons,
Yeah, you can miss me with all that and
yeah, when we get to talk about that, now it's like you said, just because a tree petrified, that mean that's a giant. Like, nah, why couldn't the big giant structure that they got, why couldn't it already resemble a woman, and then some artistic artist said, okay, well, I'm gonna just put some
Carve it
deeper
on,
features
yeah.
in it. Yeah, because
They do that
they
all the
have no
time.
past,
I like
maybe.
that perspective.
They do that all the time because guess what they do, Key? These stone artists that make these giant stone sculptures, that's what they do when they say, look, I need me a slab because I want to make a woman that's kind of leaning this way. They will actually look for a natural slab that's already kind of doing what they had in mind and make their job easier. That's facts. That's facts,
bro. Like if somebody
Wood
just
carving
like the
is a
Olmec
sport.
heads, they use the head, they use something that's already similar to the heads, and all they did was chisel they little diametrics. You know what I mean? So they can make a face on it. Like it ain't, this is.
I could
thought this
turn
what we
this.
knew.
I could turn both of these into a dog and a frog right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And the
But
thing
then a
is,
person will say it is a dog and a frog. That's a petrified dog and a frog.
This a book right here, and the dude who's selling this book on Amazon he's doing just that. He's saying, look, this is a dog that was just sitting up enjoying the sunset, and somehow it got frozen. And see, that's the kind of stuff that I'm saying. Like,
nah, man.
Nah.
Well, it would have to be that way. It would have to be where the dog was chilling in this position, and then, boom, it got frozen in time through some kind of process. So that's the claim being made. I think that if you can sell books with this claim, then I'm kind of beating up on myself being a perfectionist with how much time I'm taking with my book. I just need to throw some shit out right now. Real.
Nah, take your
Don't
time,
wait, bro.
Do
Don't
it
wait.
right.
You already put that work in, bro. Don't wait.
Yeah, but there's a
AI
level of integrity that you have to have. I mean, to me, obviously, just looking at these two sculptures, right? That somebody, took time with their hammer and chisel and chiseled this out, and to say that this is mud flood or what type of weapon or whatever it is to make something do this. That's what I want to know. It can't be an atomic bomb, right? It can't be anything nuclear.
There's no process you can explain that would do this. It just don't exist.
But what
I got something.
What we can prove is that people make statues and there's artwork that's around in the world. So you got to think with all these big castles and stuff that we used to see. Think about outside and courtyards and stuff. Maybe somebody had a big dog or a big frog, or you see what I'm saying? Wanted to make like some type of artwork that was in like a courtyard or some type of area. Like you see what I'm saying? Maybe it was
there's evidence of that everywhere.
Listen, picture this. They see like, okay, when Sanchez just saw the cave and the shit is dripping on the cave and causing that day. What about if something happened like when the rain is about to fall? When the rain about to fall, everybody running for shelter, they get caught in the rain. What about if something like that happened, like it was coming down from the sky?
You can smell it before it rains. You can smell it. It smells like it's about to rain before it rains.
No, I talk about like both petrified this stuff, the stuff that caused the stuff to get petrified. What about if it happened rapid, like how you get caught in the rain, clouds come over and the rain they start bursting down heavy, and there's like petrified these things right at the spot that didn't have time to run or do anything, What about if
some
that
type
happens,
of
something
rain?
like that,
Yeah, I can't go with that. I can't go with none of that.
Like, what if something came out the sky? I think
yeah, I'm just throwing that out there.
But like a Sub-Zero, but when he shoots you, it stone you instead of freeze you.
Right.
Medusa. What if Medusa just look at everybody?
You never know. What if they had weather manipulation and they made it rain instead of a flood?
You see, now watch this, right? Everyone know that to get to the truth is the simple path, the simple, boring answer, right? Now here go the truth, right? We can go with all these bizarre explanations, or we can go with this. How about this could be an old sculpture that is deteriorating over time, like the Sphinx is gonna look in about a couple of hundreds of years. If they don't maintain it, it'll be just like a silhouette of itself. Or watch this. Sometimes there are just natural formations in nature and rocks that just look like things we familiar with.
That's a fact.
It's frequency being expressed throughout nature.
Facts. Because we used to find sticks that look like stuff all the time when I was a little kid. Rocks, sticks, you will find this type of stuff. And it's just like the clouds, like I heard you when you said that, then that's facts. You know what I'm saying? So we're driving our imaginations to actually pay for a lie that's trying to be sold to us. So now we blurring the lines a little bit, like maybe it's true, maybe it's not, and we're pushing this, and we're telling other people this who may be interested. See, information, the flood of information wasn't good for everybody. Like when y'all was talking, some people can't swim and some people drown in the flood. You understand what I'm saying? So, and this could have been a COINTELPRO operation to throw all this information out there to further manipulate the mind from being connected back to the truth. You understand what I'm saying? It's a
Bro, I
COINTEL
just watched
age of
I,
awakening.
yeah, exactly. I just watched the movie last night, bro. It's called Begonia or something like that.
Yeah, I
Or
saw it.
but you seen that?
You
But that's
got the
basically
flat
what
earth.
he's saying.
Yep.
Yeah. That's basically what he's saying. Like, it's so much information drove this boy to kidnap a CEO of a company to think that she was an alien because he was on the internet so much. Like, but the
That's
whole
crazy.
time she was an alien though. But you feel me? But the whole play was like he let the internet paint this picture of him like being so open, being so skeptic to everything, like that you make up this whole crazy world in your head and you don't trust nothing. Like, so like you got, like Sanchez said earlier, you got to have a funnel to cycle this stuff through. Like,
Because it ain't even about, that's what I like when the Bible said, prove all things. Because it ain't even about trust with me. I don't trust or distrust information. I either can prove it or I can't. And if I can prove it, I don't have trust in it. It's deeper than trust, right? It's more like I don't trust that 2 + 2 is 4. The knowledge of something is so much deeper than like trust in it. It's more like acceptance of just something I know that'll never change. It's gonna always be 4. It's like the acknowledgement of the fact that this is set. And but the whole thing is like if I can't get to that point with something, then I don't deem it as truth. So therefore, it ain't even trust with me because I get what you saying, but I'm just saying like how a lot of these people ain't even critical thinking. When I say have that filter of critical thinking, that gets you beyond having to trust or distrust shit. You either prove it or you can't. And when you can't prove it, you either say I'm gonna invest more time in to try to proving it, or hey, I've tried to prove it for this amount of years, therefore right now I believe it ain't true. I never probably say, well, I know it ain't true. I'll show you all of my research I've done where I failed to prove it true and use that as my evidence to show why it ain't true. So that's
yeah,
how I do it. Yeah.
that's my filter. That's my filter.
And then you know what, too,
Mm-hmm.
man? A lot of this stuff push a space and an alien agenda. Not to be funny, or I don't know if y'all following me, but if we can think of there's been giants on this earth, or something came down and did this. See, now there's the doubt factor that comes in, the possibilities of the different possibilities that could have took place. And when they're pushing that space narrative and the alien narrative, then what other beings do we have more people saying that there was that probably came and did this, or what are they telling us that's coming back? You see what I'm saying? So a lot of this could be mind control too, just to push another narrative. So we got to be real careful with this information, man.
Yeah, all of
Absolutely
y'all
true.
spin facts.
Facts. If
Absolutely
you
true.
can't prove it, lose it.
Yep.
Yeah, it's
And the
just like
thing, yeah.
you know how like you were breaking down the Statue of Liberty the other day, right? And that was like what, the 1800s. So I've been studying the Templars for a little bit, and there's a chapel that was built in Scotland called the Rosslyn Chapel in 1442 or something like that. Like there's no way, like they're totally hiding something, whether it's Tartaria, but they're hiding this tech because there's no way that these people in Scotland built this highly sophisticated chapel that's got carvings. The pillars are so intricate. There's no way. Like I think just as Key was saying, they're throwing out a narrative, but I really do think that they're hiding something that humans used to do back in the day.
I think so too.
Yeah, they are. And I think what we used to do back in the day, see, the ancestors knew the proper balance of mind, body, and soul. But see, now we more intrigued with shit like this, like giants, aliens, and petrification and shit. And I seen in the chat that it didn't have nothing to do with knowing thyself. It has everything to do with knowing thyself. Because if you too busy knowing a bunch of bullshit, then how you gonna have your mind, body, and soul as your first priority?
Yeah, you got to unplug from the matrix to get there. That's the key. Is to kind of wash all this shit out. Realize
think-
half of it's fugazi, anyways.
I think the whole narrative about the frozen giants and looking at these sculptures as like frozen giants in time or frozen animals or whatever, I think that a lot of that may be to hide ancient sculptures from a old world
Definitely.
civilization.
Yep, I think the exact thing.
You know,
Not only that, but there was also different type of atomic weaponry and electromagnetic energy that caused some of these statues just to simply fall apart a little bit, which looks like purification.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Because what they call it, stone vitrification or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Look where y'all throwing me at, cause even Key said it. When Key said that the ancients about the technology, how the ancients it was more about mind, body, and soul. And so when we talking about mind, body, and soul, we speaking mainly to everything that's inside of us. So
correct.
All right. So when we talking about personification, or we talking about a dragon that supposed to represent something inside of us, like the spine, it's like how you think you're gonna get to the next level, but you don't think that it's real. That's where y'all throwing me at. It don't make
See,
Ain't
if
no
you
way
look
you
at
came back
if
and do some
He came
if
in, he
you
brought it back.
if you
Ain't
look
no way you
at
doing
but
it,
see,
bro.
look,
He
bro,
still
if
he
you
still was
that was a
salty from the
bomb.
last shit.
yeah.
That was
See,
a
if you
bomb.
look at the dragon is most personified in Chinese culture. But if you study the Chinese culture, what do? They practice karate and meditation, breathing techniques, natural healing through sound frequency and vibration. So that's why we can connect that and that's what the dragon is. The return of the dragon is the return of the Kundalini rising when everybody had this knowledge. You understand what I'm saying? So
Everybody had it, exactly.
everybody had it. But
Yeah.
now when they reset the world, they dumbed everybody down.
And
They
they
turned
calcified the
everybody
pineal
into
glands of everybody, and half of the people are
yeah.
clones. Exactly.
They taught everybody globe earth, taught everybody this fiat system of how this capitalist system that we living in. So everybody jumped into the rat race. Nobody had time to master themselves. That
Yep.
age of awakening was supposed to be the return of the dragon. But you see how they flipped it with a whole bunch of bullshit that they done threw in the
Hey,
waters. You understand what I'm saying?
You talking too fast for him, Key.
Hey
You gotta
guys,
slow down.
I got
But
to
check-
fucking shut down real quick on my end, unfortunately. But yeah, man, be on the lookout for the next one. I'm gonna keep my foot on this topic. I also gotta revisit this Yakub because there's most stuff out about that. So I got a fire topics coming. I got a debate
hey, bro,
coming
check
up.
out Quetzalcoatl too. Check out Quetzalcoatl. Do a little looking into that.
Talking about the Mesoamerican serpent deity.
Yeah. Look into
Yeah.
that too, because
Oh,
there's
yeah.
some weird stuff going on in Mexico about that. I want you to take a look at that and see what
I
you think.
will.
I'd like to. We'll chop that up on the next round.
All right, I got a debate coming up in like 3-4 days. If y'all want to check it out, I'm gonna redirect the chat to it. So stand by. It'll show y'all where we're gonna be at, because it ain't gonna be on this channel. But peace and much love to all of y'all. And I'll
Dude,
see y'all on the next one, man. I really wanted to keep it going, but I
I
can't though.
know,
So
dog. I ain't
yeah.
been on here in a minute either. Like,
Yeah, and it's a
Peace and love.
five bill, man. But I'm gonna crank this, them do a part 2 to this one. But peace, y'all. I got
Well,
to
all
can
run.
right,
I say one
guys.
thing?
Have a good
Much
night.
love for sure, y'all too.